Stand up, football fans. How's everybody doing? I started a couple minutes late. Computer, for some reason, I don't know why. I wasn't charging properly, but I got it going, hopefully, and should be good to go. We'll be live for a couple hours tonight talking Giants football, whatever you guys want to talk about. Obviously, we got the NFL draft in about 10 days, so I'm sure we'll have some questions about the Giants, about the draft. So thank you guys for being here. Hope everybody's being safe out there, and obviously we got Easter tomorrow, so hope everybody's getting ready for that. Obviously, not going to be traveling much, but hopefully you guys have a happy Easter tomorrow. What's going on, Lestat? What's going on? Jay, Nathan, JC, Jake C in the house, Moose in the house, Afghanistan, Scotty H, Jersey Joe, The Hub. The Hub did a great job over there today with his mock draft. Went in there, popped in there for a little bit. Really enjoyed that. Great job. He's got a great channel over there. Go check him out. Yeah, we're 10 days away, man. 10, yeah, I think it's 10 days, yeah. I don't know. I'm not good at math, Big Daddy, but I think it's about 10 days. What's going on, Nick? Thanks for popping in the stream. Vin's in the house. What's going on, NFL DNA? What's going on? What's going on, The Phenom? Joe in the house. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Happy Easter to you, Sabrina. Thanks for being here. 12 days. I told you I wasn't the best at math. It's about 10. I rounded down. What's up, OTB mods? What's up, man? Yeah, Bradley, man. I'm doing well, man. Hope you're doing well also. Hope everybody's being safe out there. Obviously, crazy times right now. Hopefully, everybody's wearing their gloves. If you're touching your phone right now, I'm kidding. You don't got to do that. What's going on, Noel? Thanks for popping in the stream. Happy Easter to you, Josh. New York accent. That would probably explain my channel. I have a pretty thick New York accent. I don't hide that. What's going on, Bobby? Thanks for popping in. Frosty in the house. Gettleman wants Becton. We'll see. You know, we've heard that from Daniel Jeremiah for a while, and Gettleman obviously historically definitely favors big offensive linemen. I think that's where that thought process initially came from. And then you heard the rumors on Twitter. I didn't read too much into that because that guy's got 200 followers, but supposedly he had predicted who they were going to take last year months in advance. I think he said it was down to Wirfs, Becton, and Isaiah Simmons. But Becton's been linked to the Giants for a while, and I think it's why his odds are as low as they are with Vegas right now. Even though I think he's the fourth best offensive tackle prospect, he is the type of offensive lineman that Gettleman likes. He likes big hog mollies, and he's certainly the biggest. So we'll see. He definitely had an impressive combine as well. We'll see what they think about him when they watch the tape. Oh, Jamal Adams, man, thanks so much, Philip, man. $2 donation. He says, I hope with all my heart you all take Derek Brown. Don't say that. Don't say that. That's not very nice. I know you're a Jet fan. But no, that would be... I will say this. If anybody was going to take a defensive tackle this year, it would be Dave Gettleman. I was talking to one of my subscribers today in my Discord, and the over-under for Gettleman is at least a defensive tackle and a half. At some point in this draft. With two of those 7th-round draft picks, he's probably taking 2 DTs. I mean, you could probably bank on that. But I do not think they'll be taking Derek Brown in the first 10 picks. Oh, what's going on, Hub, man? Thanks so much for the love, man. I really appreciate it. $2 donations. Tana was late as he was working on the moss. Well, yeah, I put the hat on today. I can't go to the barbershop right now, so the moss is crazy. I let it out yesterday, and then half my comments are about the moss. So I said, all right, I got to put the hat back on. But you can't go to the barbershop right now. They don't cut your hair. But Hub, man, thanks so much for the love, man. Going over there and give him a look. I've gotten a chance to work with the Hub a few times. Great guy, and he puts in a lot of work on that channel. He does a great job. So thanks for the love, man. I appreciate it. Who wants worse? We'll see. You know, I quote Vacchiano a lot, man. You know, when I see historically, he's been pretty accurate. So, you know, at this point, it's rumors. Like you guys said, it's 12 days away. I'm sure we're going to hear more things as it gets closer, but you know, when Vacchiano says things, I listen. You know, and he's been on the Wirfs train for a while. You know, he was talking about Wirfs 2 months ago before he had the impressive combine, and that's why I've had Wirfs being mocked to the Giants when I've done my mocks. It's because not just him. I've heard Kim Jones say it. A couple of Giants insiders have said that the Giants are impressed with Wirfs. Then Wirfs went out there and had the impressive combine. I don't know if he'd be my first choice. Like I've said, I'm kind of leaning Wills right now at the tackle position, but if you ask me right now, I think if I had to pick a player, if they're going tackle, I think it'll be Wirfs. But we'll see. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, Thomas is very good as well. I like Wirfs. Oh, yeah. I don't want anybody to think I don't like Wirfs moves. I definitely like Wirfs. I think he's a guy that's kind of, he doesn't have he's not as technically sound. And Brett Coleman did a great job in his film breakdown video. It really showed the deficiencies between Wirfs and Wills. Wills, I think, is more pro-ready to be the tackle. Wirfs, you could argue, has a higher upside. He's probably a better athlete. And a lot of people think he's going to be a guard at the pro level. Wills, I think, is people think has a better chance to be the left tackle. And left tackles are more important. So I think that's why people are more in tune to go with Thomas or Wills over Wirfs, but Wirfs is certainly a very solid prospect. Giants, no, Bigger Mike, the Giants are not taking Derek Brown. Stop with that nonsense. What's going on, Yuri? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Let's take a vote. I will take Wirfs, Joe says. Yeah, all right. Well, I mean, in the chat, tell me what you guys want. You guys want, what do you want? I know 70% of you guys are going to say Isaiah Simmons. So there's no point in asking, but what's going on, Pat? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. What do you think is the biggest trade possibility the Giants could make in the NFL draft if they were to? If the Giants were to make a trade, I mean, I think the Giants' biggest trade possibility is the Dolphins or the Chargers. I've said that for weeks. I mean, it only makes the most sense, and I'm going to try to get as much coffee in as I can at the beginning today because it gets cold, and I haven't had a chance to get the coffee warmer yet. But yeah, I mean, just realistic. If you look at it realistically, those teams are not going to have to give up as much to go up and get their quarterback, and they're in more of a need of a quarterback than the Jaguars. At least the Jaguars have Minshew. The Giants still get their guy at 5 or 6. If they trade down to 9, they risk not getting the guy that they wanted 4. So to me, the 5 and 6 are by far the most realistic. I wouldn't rule the Panthers or Jaguars out, but I think they're long shots, and the same with the Raiders. If the Giants are going to trade, and if you ask me to put a number on it right now, I would say 20 to 25% based on Gettleman's prior track record that he's never traded down, based on the fact that the Lions are already potentially shopping the pick. But if they were to trade down, I would say one of those two destinations is probably 80%. I would say at least 80%. It's either going to be the Chargers or the Dolphins if they were to trade down. But who knows? The draft is crazy. Anything could happen. Thank you so much for the Super Chat, Hayward Bay. I really appreciate that. He says, Center Beatish has dropped, but why? Injuries, things like that. I personally don't think he should be going as late as he is on some of these mocks. I don't think he's going to be there at 99. I know when I've done the mocks, he's there. I don't think he's going to be there. The Giants are kind of in a tough spot for him because I think 36 might be a little bit too early, but 99 might be a little bit too late. If he's there at 99, I think the Giants definitely grab him. But if not, you got Hennessy there, potentially. And he might not even be there. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, I think the centers will start falling off as the second round gets going. I honestly think he's being a little undervalued by some of these mock drafts in terms of the rankings. And Johnny Borowski, man, thanks so much for that, man. I really appreciate it. He says, would you trade back to the Raiders 2 first picks? Thanks so much. First off, thank you for being a great subscriber. Hope you're staying safe there in Vegas, Johnny. As far as the Raiders go, 12 and 19, you're still more than likely getting a tackle. But, Johnny, the problem if you trade down to 12, you look at the draft. Obviously, I know you want to take a tackle. Johnny's a big tackle guy. And if you look at the draft board, you've got the Cardinals at 8, you've got the Browns at 10, and the Jets could possibly take a tackle. Not to mention the Jaguars could possibly take a tackle. So it's possible, we'll say 3 tackles are gone by the time you pick if you trade down to 12. I'm not saying likely. I would say it's likely 2 are gone, but you're not going to get the tackle of your choosing. I would much rather sooner trade down to 9 or 5 or 6 than 12 if you want to take the tackle of your choosing. So I would be open to 12 and 19, but if you're Gettleman and you say you've got 1 or 2 tackles way above the rest, you're running the risk that guy's not going to be there at 12. It's why I think they'd be much more open to trading with one of the other 3 destinations before that one. At 12, though, like I said in my Raiders video, if they trade down to 12, I think you're looking at that's the only possibility, Johnny, where if the Raiders were to trade, the Giants rather were to trade down to 12, where I could actually see them taking a first-round wide receiver. I'm not saying I'd want that, but I could actually see that being a possibility there. Because, like I said, if 2 or 3 tackles are gone, Isaiah Simmons is gone, and you got Judy or CeeDee Lamb staring you in the face, and you're not in love with Becton or whichever offensive tackle is left over, I could see them taking a wide receiver there and then going tackle maybe at 19 or defense at 19, whatever it may be. That's the only scenario I could see them taking a wide receiver in the first round. Oh, Tom, man, thanks so much for the love, man. I really appreciate it. $2 donation. He says, Giants trading up to number 2 for Young. Bowler move. What's up, Kid Blue? There's another great Giants YouTuber, man. Go over there and check him out as well. Looking forward to having him on the channel soon. Yeah, okay. Giants trading up. Here's the thing. I mean, I would love Chase Young. First off, I don't know what it would cost. I'd have to think about that to move from 4 to 2. But the thing is, I've said it a lot. People have talked about that. I don't see why would the Redskins, our division rival, trade with us? I don't see it. I don't see the Redskins being like, all right, here, we're going to give you Chase Young, and now we got to block this guy with no offensive line for the next 10 years. I just don't see it. I would love to. I would love to end up with Chase Young. I don't think it's going to happen. And I think the Redskins stand pat. And if they do trade down, I think it would be with the Dolphins at 5. If the Dolphins gave them a ridiculous package. But I still think the Dolphins probably look more for the Lions. I really think the Redskins are going to stand pat and take their edge rusher there. What's up, Brody? Thanks so much for the popping in the stream, man. Thank you to everybody for being here. I appreciate it. Let's see. We got agree. Blue no. Yeah, I'm with you, White Lotus. I don't think we're dropping past 9 if we trade down. You know, I've entertained the Raiders theory. To me, if I'm the GM, I don't want to drop that far. I think you're risking missing out on the tackle prospect if you do that. So I don't want to trade down that far. Plus, if you trade down to 9, if you still have an outside chance, I suppose, at getting Isaiah Simmons, although unlikely. I think the Panthers would take him at 7. Tana and popcorn. Vance is the man. Hope you're doing well there, Vance. Vance is a Giants fan from Alaska. I got to give you a lot of credit, Vance. I got to give you a lot of credit. Let's get Henry Ruggs. We're not getting Henry Ruggs. Henry Ruggs is going to go probably in the 12 to 17 range. The Giants aren't getting Henry Ruggs. Henry Ruggs is going to go. If I had to guess, Henry Ruggs will be a Denver Bronco. Maybe an Eagle, but I think he'll be a Denver Bronco. That's where I've had him pegged for a while. I don't see a lot of mocks with the Broncos taking a tackle. Their offensive line was horrible last year. So I view that as an outside possibility, but not extremely likely. Thank you so much, man, Isaiah, for the $10 donation. I appreciate it. Simmons looks great, but you could scheme on defense with safeties to be coverage linebackers. O-line ain't no scheming. If O-line is trash, it's just trash. We need to go off offensive line. Listen, man, you're preaching to the choir. I know, and you know what? That's what I always say that I love about my subscribers is I know, I did the poll today. I know that 67% of you guys disagree with me. But you guys respect my opinion, and I think you at least understand where I'm coming from. But I'm with you, man, for what you're saying. I think the O-line's more important, and I think the improved coaching can improve the defense. We definitely need defensive playmakers, don't get me wrong, but I think the more pressing need for this football team right now, today, is to get a tackle and to improve that offensive line. That's just my opinion. With a second-year quarterback learning a new offense, having a running back that you've invested that much in, I just think it makes too much sense to take the tackle. And several of my subscribers have brought this point up. Ball control offense. That in itself will help Daniel Jones as well as the defense. If you can establish a ground game with Saquon Barkley, chew up the clock, that's a defense and quarterback's best friend. I think they invested in Barkley to be able to run the ball. It's been Gettleman's mission statement since he's gotten here to improve the offensive line. He has not invested early round draft picks outside of Will Hernandez in the second round in the first 2 drafts since he's been here. I know he invested a lot of money in Nate Solder, but that has not worked out. So that's my mindset, and it's why I've been pretty consistent in thinking they're going to go tackle, but I wouldn't be shocked if they go Isaiah Simmons. He certainly fits what Joe Judge has preached. And, oh, man, Donald, man, thanks so much, man, for the $2 donation. I really appreciate it. He says, number 9 overall, Ngakoue, and the 3rd pick for number 4, yes or no? Donald, you're I would not be upset with that move. I would understand the move because of his age. He's young. He'd add something to our defense, and it would kind of make everybody happy. It would make the defense people happy. We would get our tackle at 9. You would get your edge rusher. It would help the defense. But my philosophy here is if I'm trading down, if you gave me an option of Ngakoue and the 9th pick, and I have to pay Ngakoue $20 or $22 million, or I get 9 and 20, and I don't get Ngakoue, but I get the 9 and 20 pick, I'm taking 9 and 20. Because I could get Caleb on Chase on, pay him $2 million a year, and I'll have an extra $20 million in salary cap space. So I'm not going to cry if they make that move. I definitely understand that Ngakoue would help the defense, but you're committing a lot of your salary cap space to him. But it would definitely be a welcome addition. I know Giants fans would be excited, and he'd be our best pass rusher that we've had here since JPP in his prime. So I wouldn't be upset with the move, but I would rather, like I've said, continue to build through the draft. And Malik, man, thanks so much for the $5 donation. I really appreciate it. He says, what's up, Chris, Bad Dog, and Kid Blue? What's up, everybody? April 23rd will be the best day or the worst day. I'm praying Gettleman can fix the whole team. You and me both, man, and I'm just going to tell you, and I love you, Malik. But I'm going to tell you, don't expect this team to be fixed in one draft. I don't think it's going to happen. And I just think that's being practical going in. I think we need to address some of our needs, make sure we fix those needs, and then conquer the rest of our needs in the next offseason. I think that's got to be the approach the Giants take. And if you want long-term success, you can't take shortcuts. But I think we need to definitely hit on some of these picks and address some of our needs, no doubt about it. But thanks for love, man. I really appreciate it. And, oh, man, Tom Ty, thanks for love, man. I really appreciate it. He says, Isaiah Jai, Hayward Bay, get the big bucks, baller. Tom, man, thanks so much for being a great supporter of my channel, and I hope you have a happy Easter. Thank you so much. And Jay Lathan with the $2 donation. He says, Wills and Thomas are the most NFL-ready, hands down. I agree with that, especially at the tackle position. I completely agree with that. I said earlier, I thought it was a fantastic film breakdown. Everybody pointed me to it. That guy's a great channel, by the way. But when you watch that film, it's clearly evident that Wills is more technically sound at this point. He obviously had, he has Nick Saban. I mean, he has great coaching over there, but he's very good offensive lineman. Wirfs, I think, has unbelievable upside, but most people seem to think he's a guard. We'll see. I mean, maybe the Giants feel like they can make a right tackle or even left tackle out of him. He has a lot of potential. There's no doubt about it with his athletic ability, but I'm with you. I think Thomas or Wills would be the safer option. That's my honest opinion, but I'm not going to be upset if they take Wirfs. Definitely not going to be upset. Let's see. Oh, man, Blue Jackets, man. Thanks for the love, man. He says, after the recent reports, what percentage do you think it is that Wirfs becomes a Giant? I hope you guys take it because the Browns need Thomas. I would say, here's my percentages I'm going to give you. I'm going to say right now, I'm going to say like 60% tackle, 40% sim. Well, yeah, 60% tackle, 40% Simmons if, Chase Young isn't there. And I would say, I think it's close. I really do. I could see them taking any one of those 4 offensive tackles. But the one guy you don't hear a lot about, I know they interviewed him. You've heard some about Becton. You've heard some about Wirfs. Haven't heard much about Wills, but Wills has the Alabama connection and Thomas. But the guy I've heard the most noise about, and it's why I've mocked him, is Wirfs. So I continue to say right now, if you ask me, and my mind may change based on the things I hear. I don't work for the Giants, but the things I hear and read, right now I'd say Wirfs, if they're going to go tackle, is the guy that I would favor that they're going to take. But that could change. That could definitely change, and it could be smoke. But the one thing I'll say about the Giants over the last 2 years, there hasn't been a lot of smoke. When things have leaked, it usually is the path that they take in the first round of the draft. But, we'll have to wait and see. But thanks so much for the love. I really appreciate it. Cruzon. Cruzon is the man. What's going on, Cruzon? He says, build a foundation. No more flashy players. You're preaching to the choir, man. We've been the kings of flash year after year after year. Here's what I'll say, and some people may call me crazy. I think Jerry Reese's worst pick, and I'm not saying he's a worse player. He's a much better player. But I understood the Eric Flowers pick. I understood the Eli Apple pick. They didn't work out. They were bad picks. But I understood it. We needed a tackle. We needed a corner. I think Jerry Reese's worst pick was Evan Ingram. Because it was flash we didn't need. That was a team with an awful offensive line. We needed pass rushers, but we went flash. And I am completely with you. We need to stop going flash. We need to fix the nuts and bolts of this football team. That's my mindset. And that's in the trenches on both sides of the ball. That's the edge rusher. That's the offensive line. I'm completely with you on that. I've been preaching that since I got on YouTube. I've thought that since I've been a Giant fan. I said on the stream last night with Bad Dog, the year that they drafted Odell Beckham, I wasn't on YouTube. I would have preferred Zach Martin. That's the truth. I believe you win the game in the trenches. I've always believed that. Call me old school, but that's my honest opinion. And Lax, thank you so much for the $5 donation. I really appreciate it. He says, the only tackle I would be unhappy with the Giants picking would be Becton. I'd prefer Wills or Thomas, but would not be mad at Wirfs either. I'm kind of the same way as you. You know, if they trade down to 12 and get Becton, I'm not going to be that upset if he's the only guy there. But yeah, if we're staying at 4, I'm not going to be like screaming, you know, because I think it's possible they do take Becton. But I won't be screaming if they take him. But I'm with you. I think those 3 are far and away the 3 guys that I prefer. And I think that's far and away the 3 guys that most Giant fans prefer at this point in time. I know after the Combine, a lot of people were all about Becton because he ran the 5'11", 40. You know, they see this huge frame, and he definitely has a lot of upside as well, kind of like Wirfs. But he's not the most technically skilled, and I think people worry about his size like they did with Eric Flowers. But thanks so much for the love, man. I really appreciate it. And Cruz on, man. Thanks for the love, man. $2 donation is exactly. I was in the minority not wanting Barkley. I appreciate the love, man. Thank you very much. And listen, man, I'm wearing the Barkley jersey. Cruz, and I never hide my love for Barkley. I love Saquon Barkley. I think he's the guy that one of the guys we're going to build this football team around for years to come. But I certainly get the argument. I'm fair. You know, I'm unbiased. I love Saquon Barkley. I want Barkley to be here now long term, that he's here. But I definitely get the argument that the Giants should have elected to trade down in that draft had the right opportunity presented itself. We're never going to know if it did or didn't. You can't blame them for not taking a quarterback if they weren't in love with any of the quarterbacks. They didn't force that, but they definitely could have elected to trade down. We won't know for sure. We've heard rumors that there were trades available. If there were, yeah, I a foundational piece for this football team. But for him to be a foundational piece, Cruzon, what do we got to do? Got to fix the trenches. Malik, thank you so much for the $5 donation. She says, the problem with Wirfs is that he needs help with his footwork and he gets beat on the inside moves. I don't know why they mock him for the Giants. Well, that's the thing, man. People are saying that he's got to work on the fundamentals. That's the thing. He's got upside, he's got athletic ability, but he's got to work on the fundamentals. And thank you guys for being. I see Pumpkins in the chat. What's going on, Pumpkin? Thanks for popping in the stream. Matt says, go Quads. That's right, go Quads. These reporters don't know who the Giants have atop their board. Could be the Giants. No, I mean, at the end of the day, it's all speculation. It's all fun. Now, that's what I kind of said at the beginning of the rumor video. But I do think they're taking tackle. But I've thought that for a while. I could be completely wrong. No, I just have an opinion, just like all you guys. You know, I'm a fan. I never come on here and claim to work for the New York Giants. I give you guys my educated guess. My educated guess thing is that they're going tackle. I could be wrong. They could definitely take Simmons. And if they do, I will not be shocked at all. And I'll applaud it on draft night. Like I said, I'll be the first to buy his jersey. Nelson, thanks so much for the love, man. I really appreciate it. $2 donation. He says, fix the offensive line to win time of possession. Nelson. I completely agree with you, man. You're preaching to the choir. That's time of possession is where it's won and lost. And what is going on, OGR Sports? I'm going to upload our interview I did with him, I think 2 nights ago. Just been busy, been uploading videos. I kind of wanted to space out the interview, so I'm going to have an interview up on the channel with OGR Sports tomorrow. It was a great conversation, so I'm looking forward to that. You guys should check that out and going over there and to subscribe to him. Thanks so much for love, man. He says, give me Logan Wilson. Love this kid after doing research and video. Happy early Easter. Also, stay safe. We can't let the best Giants YouTuber get sick. You may look like Swamp Thing. We don't need you feeling like it. Yeah, that's why I'm drinking the coffee. I'm trying to stay awake. I'm trying to stay healthy. I'm trying to jog whenever I can. And happy Easter to you too, man. And I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Coming from a great Giants content creator in himself. And I like Logan Wilson. Logan Wilson was actually first pointed out to me by the Hub. I don't know if he's still in here, but Logan Wilson's a very interesting linebacker prospect, maybe in the 4th or 5th round. Not, he's more of a traditional linebacker. He's not really a coverage guy, but I do like him. Oh, Sincere Blue, man. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. $5 donation. He says, in order for us to effectively run Jason Garrett's system, we need power up front. Becton is a prospect to fall in love with size and athleticism. Sincere, that's another reason that I've kind of preached that I want to improve this offensive line because of the offensive system we've brought in. We had the Shermer offense with the West Coast system, the short passing routes. You could kind of get away with having a mediocre offensive line when you have that. If we want to take shots down the field like Garrett has preached, in the past with the Cowboys and what he wants to bring here with this Eric Coryell offense, it's going to take more time for these routes to develop. And yes, maybe the coaching will improve the offensive line, but the guys that we brought in, Fleming is a swing tackle for a reason. We gave him a 1-year contract for a reason. He's not a long-term answer. And if you want this offense to perform the way it should, you're going to have to block properly, and you're going to want a heavy run attack. And Becton may be the guy. I get the fear with Becton, though. I definitely do. I definitely do. When you watch the film breakdowns, he's not as technically as advanced as some of those other guys, but he's big and he's got upside. So, like I said, I'm not gonna cry if they take him. Malik, man, thanks so much for the love, man. I really appreciate it. And I see that Menace 2900 is drunk. I hope you stay. I hope you're okay over there. But Malik says if the Giants don't take a tackle in the first and second round, I'll jump out my window. I almost did it last year when they got baby snacks. Don't jump out your window. Don't jump out your window. If they don't get a tackle in the first or second, I mean, basically what they're telling you is we're gonna go forward this year with another makeshift offensive line. They're not gonna have a long-term answer on that offensive line at either tackle spot. And hopefully they improve the defense if that's the case. And then they got to fix the offensive line in the next draft. For everybody that's screaming Isaiah Simmons, and I get it, definitely need to improve that defense. If they do not take a tackle in this first round, this is what I'll say to you. If they do not take a tackle in this first round, you cannot complain at all if they take a tackle in next year's draft in the first round, because they're going to have to do it eventually. Or they're going to have to hit on one in the third or fourth round. But you cannot complain if they take a tackle in next year's draft in the first round. I personally think they're going to have to take one first-round tackle eventually. It's that messed up. That's just my opinion. Obviously, yes, you could point to that Gettleman's never taken a first-round tackle. You could point to that he has found success with tackles in the past. But obviously, at any position, not just the tackle, when you take them in the first round, you have a higher probability of hitting on a premium prospect. So if you're so much against taking the tackle this year, well, then it's probably just going to happen in the following draft. So pick your poison. And I know the people that are for Simmons are not going to want to take the tackle next year, but it's going to happen sooner than later. And Kevin, thanks so much for the $2 donation. He says, heard Thomas played right tackle freshman year, versatility. If they bring in Andrew Thomas, I think he's going to be the left tackle. Now, he may start at the right tackle, I said it last night with Bad Dog. Solder and Hernandez kind of have familiarity playing next to each other. They may not want to screw that up this year. We'll see, because then you'd be asking Solder to play a new position. You'd be asking Hernandez to learn next to a new player. But I think Thomas would be a left tackle for the Giants, if not next year, definitely for the foreseeable future. But thanks so much for the love. I really appreciate it. And Darnell, what's going on, my man? He says, Chris, I forgot about baseball. Yeah, Darnell, you and me both, man. Baseball would have been starting in, 2 weeks? Which sucks. I know you're a huge Mets fan too. Unfortunately, we had that horrible Syndergaard injury before the year started, and I was really looking forward to baseball. Hopefully, we get it back sooner than later. We'll see, man. But thank you so much for popping in the stream, man. I really appreciate it. And Malik says, but with this, thank you for the donation, Malik. He says, but with this offensive system, you need alignment to block for more than 5 seconds, and you don't want Becton to just punch people to try to block them. And a lot of the highlights with Becton, you see him just absolutely mauling people, and that is what I think people get most impressed with. But like you said, I think in your previous donation, he's not the most technically sound guy. People see the power though; they see the potential. I think he had a video where he was like pushing like a truck, I think, up a hill. He's the strongest. I don't think he did that most on the bench. I think Wirfs might have, but he's probably got. I think he has longer arms. But he's probably the strongest and most imposing. But I like I've said, I think I would go Wills or Thomas at this point. Thanks so much for the love, man. And OGR, man, thanks so much, man, for the donation again. He says, Logan much better in coverage than people think. I think he, from what I've seen, I think he's a good linebacker prospect. I'm just saying he's not known for coverage, but I think he can be adequate. I definitely think he'd be adequate in coverage. That's the other thing. You heard the rumors that Giants are now looking at some potential later round prospects at the linebacker position. Is that a hint that they may not be going with one in the first? That doesn't necessarily mean that's the case. They could be looking at some of these guys for, special teams and things of that nature, but, we're going to have to wait and see. We still got 12 days till the draft, and it's going to be a lot of fun speculating over what's going to happen. L.A. Lou, man, thanks so much for the love, man. $5 donation. Simmons should be your first pick, but I think center should be their next priority. There are plenty of good tackles in rounds 3 or 4. Simmons should be your first pick, and I think Lou, at the end of the day, I think a lot of Giants fans agree with you. And like I've said, I'm not going to cry if they go with Isaiah Simmons at 4. My mindset is, and I've said it numerous times, I'm sick and tired of what if on the offensive line, and I know we've missed in the first round. So I definitely get why people are scared. I'm sick and tired of what if. I want to get this fixed. I've been waiting for this offensive line to be competent, not average for a decade. And I'm sick of saying we can wait till the third or fourth round. If there's a guy there that you think is a top tier prospect, I would take him. I think it's been the biggest. I personally think the biggest problem over the last 10 years for the New York Giants has been the offensive line, and I think most Giant fans would agree with me. Eli Manning had his second half of his career ruined because of it, and that's just my mindset. And I see that you got a running back that's approaching his third year. I think we got to fix that offensive line. Now, if the Giants feel like they can get supreme production out of the third and fourth round picks, go right at it. But they better fix it, and they better fix it fast. Let's see what we got here. Cruzon, thanks so much for the $2 donation. He says, Gettleman's job depends on DJ's development. Preaching to the choir, Cruzon. Preaching to the choir. And DJ's development and Saquon Barkley's development. His job depends on those two players. It just does. And I thought I saw, I want to make sure I didn't miss one. I thought I saw Kid Blue donate. Did I miss Kid Blue? I don't think I did. Okay. But no, I'm completely with you, Cruz, on that. And he knows that. Oh, there it is. Okay, I want to make sure I didn't skip Kid Blue. And he knows that, which is why in my opinion, that's the biggest, the biggest reasons why I think they're going tackle, outside of the past. One, Dave Gettleman has drafted a quarterback and a running back the last 2 years. He knows if he's going to keep his job, Daniel Jones is going to have to prosper this year. Two, the new offensive system they brought in calls for stronger offensive line play. Jason Garrett, what did the Cowboys do? They drafted 3 first-round offensive linemen. 3, they spent the bulk of their free agency money on the defensive side of the football. They brought in Cam Fleming. That was their lone offensive lineman that they brought in of any significance. And he's a swing tackle. So to me, that points to tackle in the first round. They also added a linebacker for $10 million a year with Blake Martinez. I could be wrong, guys. That's just where it looks like it's going for me. And Kid Blue, thanks so much for the $5 donation. He says, if somehow we don't draft an offensive tackle at 4, look at Matt Peart's good. I like him. He's a center prospect. I like him. Guy's an absolute sleeper, 3rd to 4th round prospect that may start day 1. I'm completely on board with you there, KB. And KB, I got to have you on this week as well. I don't know if you saw your Twitter message. I tried to get you and OGR on at the same time. I would love to have a Giants roundtable. I would love to get that organized with like 5 or 6 of us come on, whether it's live or whether it's pre-recorded, and just talk about the draft and give our thoughts. You, OGR, Bad Dog, myself, maybe 1 or 2 other people, Fisk maybe, whoever, and come on and talk about the draft and, what we're looking at and what we want to see. I think it would be a really entertaining podcast. Fireside Giants as well, if I get them on. So hopefully we can work that out. Thanks so much for the love, man. I really appreciate it. And TJ with the $5 donation, he says, can't win in the trenches if you're down 14 in the first quarter every game. Take Simmons and take offensive tackle in the second round. And there's the argument for the Simmons people. And I get it. Our defense was as bad as it gets. That's why, when I've done some of these videos, I've basically said there's no right and wrong answer. Both opinions have validity to them. If you're a linebacker or a defensive guy with this pick, you have strong talking points. And if you're an offensive tackle guy, the 3 talking points I just stated, I think are strong talking points. And the chewing up of the clock, keeping the defense fresh, I think there's arguments for both sides. Yes, our defense was abysmal. I don't know this, but I would think we were the worst third down defense in all of football. We weren't horrible at getting teams into third down situations, but when we did, we couldn't get off the field. Now, some of that could be attributed to coaching, but some of that is definitely attributed to personnel. We definitely don't have the necessary talent on the football field. So I think there's strong arguments for both sides, and I think I've been pretty consistent with that. So I get your point. I think it's a fair point you bring up. I'm just leaning tackle for the reasons that I've said. And we got time, man. What's going on, man? $2 donation says, what's going on at Entertainer? Love the stream so far. I really appreciate that. And keep doing what you're doing over there. I didn't comment, but I checked out a couple of your interviews. You're doing a great job over there, and keep doing what you're doing. I look forward to having you on the channel. Let's see what we got. John Laterno with the $5 donation says, stand up, the Entertainer. Happy Easter. Other than some needs for your O-line, are you satisfied with your potential offense for the season? I think they're going to address the wide receiver position. I think that they'll probably take a wide receiver between round 3 and 5. But other than that, yeah, I think we're pretty set in terms of the skill position players. I think I had to get a sip. I think you'll go into the season with Even the guy we draft, I don't think he'll have a primary role at least going into the season. Maybe he'll break into that. But yeah, I think the weapons that we have is going to be what we have going forward. And if they remain healthy, I mean, I've said this. When you factor in Saquon Barkley, if he's healthy, I think our weapons are at minimum average. I mean, to me, Saquon Barkley is the best running back in the sport. Evan Ingram, if he's healthy, is one of the top 5 pass-catching tight ends in the sport. Darius Slayton, I think, has upside. Golden Tate is a very solid slot receiver. Shepard's got to stay away from concussions, but when he's on the field, he's solid. I'm not worried about the weapons. Yeah, we could definitely use a tall threat, and I think they'll address that. But it's the offensive line, in terms of the offensive side of the football, that we need to focus on. And I'll tell you what, John, if they focus heavily on the offensive line in this draft, and I don't know if they're going to, but if they go, rounds 1 and 2, tackle center, I think we're going to have a very good offense. I really do. And I think they're going to be setting Daniel Jones up for success. Thanks for the love, John, and happy Easter to you, buddy. Jay Lathan with the $5 donation. I really appreciate it. He says, draft Wills, then Ruiz, and Saquon will break every rushing record ever. I don't want to get too carried. I mean, I listen, man, I'm all about taking the early round hog mollies. I don't want to put too much pressure. If we draft those two guys, at the end of the day, they're still rookies, but long term, I do think you're building something that's going to be a very strong foundation going forward if you elect to do that. By all accounts, Ruiz is the best center in this year's draft. I don't think he's going to be there at 36, but if he is, I think you snatch him. He's also known to be a really good locker room guy, Jersey kid. Makes a lot of sense. Tough football player. I would be really happy with Ruiz. And yeah, if you go tackle center, I think that you're going to have a really good foundation going forward for sure for both Barkley and Jones. And Alphabet, that's what I call him because I don't know how to pronounce that. With the $2 donation, he says, can we win games if you lose 7-0 or 3-0 either? No, you need both. You need a balanced football team. You do. That's what I always say. Yeah, defense definitely wins championships. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, I always say it. I don't care how good your defense is this day and age. With the rules that are in place, good luck stopping Pat Mahomes. Good luck stopping a quarterback like that. And I'm not saying you can't, but good luck with an Andy Reid-led offense. The best defense against a player like Pat Mahomes is a ball control offense and keeping Mahomes off the field, much like we did to Tom Brady in that Super Bowl. Now, we definitely got after Tom Brady. Don't get me wrong. The pass rush did a great job as well, but you need both. Thanks so much, Phil. I really appreciate it. And Stinkball Sport, there's a guy he's starting the channel. I think he's got an intro. I saw it. I don't think he's got any videos up yet, but he's a great supporter of mine on Twitter all the time. Always shows me love. $5 donation. He says, show me how Simmons is going to help us keep Jones and Saquon upright. He's not. Unless, you know what, I don't know this. Maybe Simmons has a background in being an offensive line coach. And if he does, maybe he could bring that to the New York Giants. Maybe we don't know about that. I don't know. Thanks for the love, man. I really appreciate it. And Zeke with the $5 donation, he says, will we chew up the clock with Barkley? He's not exactly the chew-up clock kind of running back. He's a home run hitter. That's a fair point you bring up. And that's why I've kind of said that I want to take another running back in this year's draft. I want a big-bodied running back. But that's true. But maybe with a better offensive line, Saquon Barkley can be that between the tackles runner. I think he's certainly capable of that with a strong offensive line. Is he Zeke? No. Zeke is definitely a more hard-nosed runner, the guy that's going to get you that extra yard or two after contact. Yeah, Barkley's definitely always looking to hit the home run, but I think you could bring in a guy like Dylan from Boston College and be that short yardage runner and be more of a ball control offense. Of course, Saquon's always going to look to hit the home run when he has the opportunity, though. That's what's in his arsenal. That's what makes him special. But thanks for the love, man. Oh, Malik, man, thank you so much, man. He says, but for the Simmons people, there are how many players coming out in the draft again, and there are players who are like Simmons' skill set, and they're underrated. For example, the dude from Oregon and Temple. Yeah, but I mean, if I'm being fair, Malik, I mean, yes, they can cover, but they're not Isaiah Simmons. I mean, Isaiah Simmons is 6'4", 240. Dye, for example, I think is 6'1", 6'2", 225. They don't run like this guy. A 4.39, great side-to-side quickness. The guy's a complete football player. The guy is going to be very good. They're like poor men, right? They're like poor man's Isaiah Simmons, much like Austin Jackson or Yang is a poor man's Jedrick Wills. There's a reason that these guys are going in the top end of the draft in the mocks, and the other guys are going in the second and third round. But yeah, I guess they're similar in the sense that they could cover, but they're not Isaiah Simmons. They're just not. So I definitely get the Simmons people. Independent Outsider, thanks so much, man, for the $2 donation. He says, what career stats needed for Saquon to be worth the number 2? One stat, Independent Outsider. Super Bowl ring. He gets a Super Bowl ring and he stays healthy. And he's got to be a Hall of Famer. He's got to be a Hall of Famer. When you take a running back that early, he's got to be a Hall of Famer. And I don't think anybody denies he will be if he stays healthy. I think he's destined for Canton if he stays healthy. But yeah, I think he's got to surpass what Tiki Barber did. I think Tiki Barber had about 10,000 yards on the ground. I'm not sure as far as scrimmage yards go. I would think he's got to surpass Tiki Barber in scrimmage yards. He's got to win a Super Bowl, and he's got to make the Hall of Fame. Or at least make the Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame, I would say, is what he's got to do. But thanks so much for the love, man. I really appreciate it. And Cruzon, it says message retracted. Sorry, Cruzon, man. I don't know why it says that. Maybe somebody blocked it by accident. But I'll look for you in the chat. Sorry, man, with the $2 donation. But I'm sure Cruzon's talking offensive line. Thanks so much for the love, no. I really appreciate it. Okay, there it is. Okay. Simmons, thank you again, man. Simmons' only weakness is Lois Lane and Kryptonite. Oh, he's getting a little sarcastic there, guys. He's getting a little sarcastic. Cruzon's the big O-line guy. JG's with the $5 donation. He says, great analysis you did as a guest on the Fantasy Football Council show. 2 great shows that I watch. You're the official ambassador of the G-Man. Wow, yeah, I'm going to be on there tomorrow. That's awesome. Yeah, man, I enjoyed working with that guy. That was a lot of fun. And yeah, we're doing, not tomorrow, rather, Monday. Tomorrow's Easter. But yeah, I like that guy. He's a really nice guy. Yeah, I was talking to him. We're doing some collaborations, and I'm going to add some fantasy content to my channel as well this year. At least that's my plan. Obviously, I'm going to be predominantly Giants, but it's something to do if we have football, of course. Around, late June, early July, I'm planning on having some fantasy content on the channel. But yeah, I'll definitely be working with him as well, man. And thanks so much for the love, man. I really appreciate it. And Christoph Porzingis with the $2 donation is talking Giants airing day before the draft on 4/22. Bad Dog and myself are going to be live all 3 days of the draft. We're going to be live together and individually, I'm sure, leading up into the draft. I'm not sure, what days we'll have the Talking Giants. I know I'm going to probably do the same thing I did last year. The day of the draft, I'll probably go live for like 2 hours early in the day and then take a break before the draft just to get the mojo rising, the anticipation. Everybody's going to be pumped up. So I'll probably go live from like 1 to 3, and then we're going to be on Bad Dog's channel from the start of the draft till the end, first round. And day 2 and 3 will be on my channel. So that's what we have worked out. So, yeah, come on by, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. And KP, man, hope you're doing well in Dallas. John Letourneau with the $5 donation. He says, if the Eagles get Ruggs or one of the other potential top receivers, as the other divisions beefed up by default, chances of the Eagles and Giants playoffs. If the Eagles get Ruggs or one of the other potential top receivers, okay, so if they get a top 3 receiver, as the other divisions beefed up by default, chances of the Eagles, I'm being honest with you, John. I know Giants fans don't like hearing this, but I try to be honest and unbiased. If everything breaks right, we can make the playoffs, but I'm not picking us to make the playoffs this year. I do think the Eagles are going to make the playoffs. If Wentz stays healthy, and that's a huge if. You better knock on wood. But if Wentz stays healthy, I think you guys have the most talent this year. I think the Cowboys, in terms of personnel, took a little bit of a step back. Not their fault. They had to sign the players they had to sign. But I think the Eagles going in are the favorites to win the division. I think it's your division to win. But it's football. Things happen. Last year, I thought the Cowboys were the team to win the division, and they didn't win it. So anything could happen. But thanks for the love, man. I really appreciate it. And New York for Life with the $2 donation. Let's shock the world and draft a punter for... Oh, God. Put down the beer. Put down the beer, New York for Life. My God. You sound like the Jets. Didn't the Jets... Oh, no. The Jets took a kicker in the... I think it was the second round. A couple of years ago. I know... not a couple of years ago. Like 10, 15 years ago. Janikowski was a first-round pick. But I don't think a punter's ever gone in the first round. And that better not happen. Thanks so much for the love, man. $2 donation says... JG's with the love. He says, I lost my belt in fantasy last year. I need it back. Well, hopefully that guy, I'll tell you what, man, if anybody knows a lot about fantasy, it's that guy. He does a really good job. He's really knowledgeable with that, and that's where you want to go. He does a great job, and I'm sure I'll have him on the channel as well. Thanks for the love, man. I really appreciate it. And thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. If you guys haven't done so, please hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to ring the bell, and go ahead and ask your questions. What's going on, Johnny T? Tana, I think the fans are scared off by Beck. Johnny T, by the way, great subscriber of mine. Scared off by Becton because of Flowers the same way they were scared off by Daniel Jones because of Dave Brown. I think Dave Gettleman feels about Simmons the way he did about Barkley. That's very possible. That's what I mean, Johnny T. At the end of the day, if they take Simmons, that'll be what it is. And that's what I've said time and time again. It's almost identical to the same situation we were in 2 drafts ago. It's almost identical, where we had a clear need at the quarterback position. I'm not trying to downplay the defense, but in 2018, we were picking at the top of the draft. Everybody said you had to take quarterback. Dave Gettleman saw a player that he thought was a gold jacket player, and he took him. With Saquon Barkley. Running back was definitely not our biggest need, but it was a player he couldn't pass up. And if he feels that same way about Simmons, and there's no way we could know that. It's just speculation. Yeah, he looks like a track star, and yeah, he's a very good football player, but we do not know if Dave Gettleman feels that strongly about him. But if he does, he's probably going to take him, unless he feels like that strongly about an offensive tackle as well. I would think if he thinks that strongly about both the tackle and Simmons, he's taking the tackle. But if he is overwhelmed by Simmons, much like he was with Barkley in 2018, I think we'll take him. Let's see. Oh, man, thanks so much. Sticky Finger. I think that's how you say it, with the $10 donation. Thanks for the love, man. He says, how much of an impact can a head coach have on this current team? If Judge turns out as bad as McAdoo or as good as Belichick, what does that equate to in terms of wins and losses? Predict wins for each case. Okay, so we're just talking for next year. If he's not, McAdoo to me is essentially what Shermer was. So if he's Shermer, especially with this new schedule, which I don't think he's going to be, by the way. I think he's going to be better than Shermer. I would say 4 or 5 wins. It's not like they have so much more talent than they had last year. If he's Belichick, Belichick could turn this team into an 11-win team in his sleep. Belichick gets the most out of everybody. He has a system, and he gets the most out of his players. To me, Belichick is worth 5 or 6 wins by himself. Do I think Joe Judge is going to be Belichick, if we're being fair? No. Do I think I think he'll be in the middle of those two, especially early on. I think he'll be better than Shermer, and he's going to be worse than Belichick. And I think 6, 7, 8 wins, I think that's what you're looking at for your first year, regardless of what they do in the draft. I think they play a really tough schedule, so we'll see. I hope they prove me wrong, and I hope he is Belichick. I hope we win 11 games. But thanks so much for that, man. I really appreciate it. And what's going on, Newcastle? He says, can you do a video series in which you break down the strengths and weaknesses of the Giants' potential draft selections by breaking down game tape? I'm probably going to do something like that after the draft. I'll probably do that for each individual player because it's just too much to do into each individual potential player that we could draft. But I'm definitely going to do videos on each individual player that we draft. And then I'll do a roster, an overall roster, talk about the impact that the rookies have on their roster. I'll probably break down some highlights. That they're not going to have the same game film that they do in NFL Game Pass for collegiate players, but I'll try my best to find some film that I could do it with, and I'll try my best. But yeah, I'll definitely have some stuff like that, but it'll be after the draft. And Alphabet with the $2 donation, I really appreciate it. He says Judge is a 3. I agree. By the way, I completely agree, Greg. Judge is at least a 3-year project. You don't hire a guy that's 38 years old after you just fired 2 coaches in 4 years and only give him 2 years. You got to give 3 years minimum. I want to give him more than that, but 3 years minimum. And Alphabet with the $2 donation, he says, McAdoo better than Shermer. He was screwed by Reese. McAdoo was better than Shermer, but, let's be fair. Yeah, I'm assuming you're saying because of the Pat Mahomes thing, and who knows how accurate that is, but yes, the rumor was he wanted to move up and get Pat Mahomes. McAdoo won 11-5 in his first year, but McAdoo also had everything break for him, right? They spent like crazy in free agency, and that's why they won 11 games. And like Bad Dog says all the time, that team found ways to win 2- and 3-point games all year. They kind of squirted by on a soft schedule. I don't think they were as good as their record, and the second year everything fell apart. They had some injuries. I don't think either guy was a great coach. I think McAdoo was a very good offensive coordinator, much like Shermer. McAdoo's probably a little bit better of a head coach, but that's not saying much. Shermer has one of the worst win-loss percentages in the history of football. At the end of the day, neither one of them is the guy that we want coaching this football team. We want a much better head coach. You might be right. You might be right. We don't know yet. And I'll say this. I think Judge is definitely going to have some input. I don't think Gettleman is the only one making this decision. But that doesn't mean, I think people just hear versatility and they just automatically think that we have to go Simmons because he's versatile. Doesn't necessarily mean that. He still could view tackle as a huge, important need for a young quarterback in a second-year offense. But I do think Judge will definitely have a say in the pick. No doubt about it. I am confident in saying this. that if they go, I know some people have said that if they go offensive tackle, it's all Gettleman, and if they go Isaiah Simmons, it's all Judge, because Judge definitely wants Isaiah Simmons. I'm confident in saying Joe Judge is going to have a say, regardless if we go tackle or linebacker. And I don't automatically think that Joe Judge would not take a tackle. I think he sees the same problems that I see. That doesn't mean that he's not going to view the linebacker as a bigger problem or a more attractive, person to bring to his roster, being as versatile as Isaiah Simmons is. He definitely could, but I wouldn't rule out the fact that he could definitely rank an offensive tackle above Isaiah Simmons. Let's see what we got here. But thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. He says, what's going on, Tristan? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Shermer learned nothing in all of his years of experience of being a head coach. Yeah, Shermer was not a good head coach. I tried to stick up for him only because I like stability. I like, and I'm going to be the same way with Judge. I like to give my coaches a chance, but at the end of the day, Shermer, I mean, it was week in, week out. I think he had a 3-game stretch last year. I think it was 3 games in a row where Pat Shermer misused the timeouts over the last 4 minutes of the game. He was horrible. He's a bad head coach. He handled the media horribly. Yes, the players liked him. He was a player's coach, I suppose. But at the end of it, I heard rumors that the meetings were horrible. That the player, that the team kind of quit on him at the end. So I don't know. He wasn't a good head coach, and he's gone. And hopefully the guy we bring in is. And I think I hope that Joe Judge will be. Hey, Chris, Fireside did an interview. I know, I saw that, Nick. Yeah, and I'm supposed to be working with them soon again as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. Great guys over there too. Love that channel. Yeah, Sherman wasn't a leader of men. I agree. Yes, I do, MH. A bunch of my subscribers think that as well. When I was doing the mock draft, yeah, I do. I think Highsmith is a good late round prospect. It is a guy we could be looking at in the 4th, 5th round area for sure. A lot of guys when I did the mock draft liked him in that 4 or 5 round area. Tall running back from Yes. People have told me about him as well, Yuri. That's another guy people have told me about. And I'm gonna look more into him. I'm gonna look more into him. What's going on, Andrew Lusk? He says, if Belichick wants to prove he's so great, let's see him pick another Tom Brady in the 6th round again this year. We'll see. I mean, Belichick's got a lot going against him this year. It's not just Brady. He lost Jamie Collins. He lost Van Noy. He lost a lot. So it's going to be tough for Belichick. But if anybody could do it, it's Belichick. And I'm not saying he's going to win a Super Bowl, but I'm not ruling Belichick out of competing this year. He's that good. He's that good. I saw what he did with Matt Castle. I saw what he did with Jimmy Garoppolo. Brissett. He's won games with quarterbacks not named Tom Brady. So I think they're still going to be a competitive team. I'm not going to sleep on them. I'm not going to be one of these people that's going to say because Brady left, they're going to win 5 games. I don't think so. I think Bill Belichick gets the most out of his players. I think that team's going to be in contention to make the playoffs. Let's see what we got here. Would you be mad if we draft Simmons? No, I've said that forever. I'm not going to be mad if we draft Simmons. Linebacker's a huge need. I have my opinion, tackle, but I think I've been pretty transparent this whole time. My mindset is, whatever you pick, it better be one of those 2. First off, I'll be mad if it's not one of those 2, unless Chase Young falls. But whatever you pick, you better make sure he's a Pro Bowler, All-Pro talent. Maybe not All-Pro, at least a Pro Bowler. You better make sure he is an impact football player, regardless of who you take there. And that's it. I mean, that's what I'm hoping for. I've expressed why I think the tackle is the more pressing need and why it needs to be addressed sooner than the linebacker. But if they go linebacker, I'm good with it, as long as Isaiah Simmons is what people are projecting him to be. It's going to be a lot of pressure on Isaiah Simmons, I'll tell you that. But I think he could match it. I think he's going to be a very good pro. What's going on? What, you say thanks popping in the stream? What's going on, Wayne? Thanks popping in the stream. Who do you like on D other than Simmons and Okudah? In the first round, for the Giants, nobody. I mean, to me, it's Simmons or nobody unless Chase Young falls. But, I mean, there's definitely a few prospects I like. Caleb on Chase's a guy I really like. I like Kenneth Murray. Patrick Queen, actually, the Giants, I think, are interviewing him. I almost did a video on that today. The Giants are interviewing Patrick Queen, a potential second-round prospect if he falls out of LSU. He's an interesting linebacker prospect. Those are some early-round guys that to keep an eye on. A.J. Epinesa is definitely fallen. He's not the most athletic guy. Matos, I really like his backstory. He's got some connections to the coaching staff. Darrell Taylor's a guy I've expressed that I really like in the 3 to 4 round range. I'll probably have him in the mock that I do next. Yeah, and there's a couple of others as well. But yeah, those are some of the names. Yeah, I like Bourne too. Shouldn't have left him off. I'm a big fan of Bourne. And what's going on, Last Jedi? Kenneth Murray or Patrick? I agree, Jedi. I think you guys are going to go linebacker. Unless you trade down, I think you're going to go linebacker. I thought wide receiver, but then you brought in Emmanuel Sanders. So now I think you go linebacker. Thoughts on Josh Jones or Isaiah Wilson at 36 if we take Simmons at 4? Bradley says. Listen, I like both of them. I do. Personally, I think Isaiah Wilson's a little early for 36, but I did mention him as a potential second-round prospect for the New York Giants. As far as Jones goes, I personally don't think Jones is going to be there. I think teams are going to look at him. He's kind of like a project, kind of like Becton, but he's got a lot of the physical attributes that teams look for, and there's a lot of tackle-needy teams. I think Jones goes in the first. Wilson's interesting. He's the Georgia tackle nobody talks about because he plays opposite Andrew Thomas. He is huge, though. He's 350 pounds. And I've read some things that I like about him. 36 to me might be a little bit of a reach, but I do think he could be a good pro. I think he's a pretty safe pick. I think he'll be a solid offensive lineman. HTH in the house. What's going on, man? Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got. If we take a tackle at 4 and Bourne and Ruiz are available in the second, who would you want? Oh, wow. Oh, man. You're talking to the wrong guy, man. If you don't like offensive line, you're talking to the wrong guy. I'm taking Ruiz. But I don't think Ruiz is going to be there. But I would take if Ruiz is there in round 2, I want to address the center position. I do. Unless somebody ridiculous is there, I want to address the center position. I don't know if Ruiz is going to. I don't think Ruiz is going to be there. I don't. I think he's going to go in the back end of the first. But if he's there, I'm taking Ruiz. What's going on, BJ? Thanks for popping in the stream. Can you hit the whoa? I don't know what that means. Ruiz joined. Yeah, I personally think Ruiz is going in the first round. Do you think the Giants could draft KJ Hamler? From KJ Hamler's an interesting player. He's kind of a gadget player. I think OGR did a video on him. And he's interesting, but I don't know if we have the luxury to take a player like that. From what I've seen, maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I think he's mocked in the 4-round area, 4 or 5 round. I'd rather fill in other needs before we bring in a player like that. He's a very interesting prospect, but I'd rather get a total threat if we're going to go wide receiver. Let's see what we got here. Cushenberry, that's my number 1 center if he's there. I think A.J. Marshall, I think Cushenberry definitely could be there. I think he definitely could be there. And that I think most people would have him as the second-ranked center right now. If not Beatish. So that's obviously another potential target, along with the safety. That's something we don't really talk about a lot. We definitely could go with a guy like Winfield as well. Delpit, there's a couple of prospects there that we could go at the safety position. Let's see what we got here. Is Bradbury a top 15 corner? Yeah, I think he is. I think he's like right. I think that's like right where he is. I think he's probably anywhere between like 13 and 17. I think 15 is like the number. He's not like a supreme lockdown number 1 corner, but he's a solid pro. He's a guy that you could stick in there that's going to be good in the locker room. He's a good football player that you could rely on. I think that's what you're getting with Bradbury. So yeah, you're not getting, like I said when we got him, you're not getting Janoris Jenkins in his prime, but you're getting a very good cornerback, and that's what we signed up for. Good night, guys. Stay safe out there. You too, Isaac. Happy Easter to everybody. Let's see what we got here. If both Simmons and Young are at 4, who you taking? I would go Simmons. Oh, you don't want to hear my answer then. I'm going Young. I think Young is the safest player in this draft. I do. And I give my reasoning all the time. Edge rusher to me is the easiest position to project at the NFL level. And he's got the goods. And I think you're getting a slam dunk, 10-sack guy pretty much right away if you get Chase Young. So, to me, Chase Young is the safest player. I think he plays a more important position. As much as I think it is very important to have a coverage linebacker, you need edge rushers. And you got to go. To me, I got to go Chase Young. And I know a lot of people think that Isaiah Simmons fits our defense better. I'm going Chase Young. I would take Chase Young. Let's see what we got here. I can't believe people would take Simmons over Young and saying yeah, yeah. Well, that's what happens. You know, that's fans. You know, they fall in love with other prospects, and now Isaiah Simmons is what Chase Young was 2 months ago. And we got time. Thanks so much for the love, man. And by the way, go on over there and check his channel out. He's doing a really good job. He's interviewing a lot of former football players. $2 donation. He says Prime Jenkins or Prime DRC. Who'd you want? I think I'd go Prime Jenkins. Prime DRC was very good. I think I'd go Jenkins. Jenkins. When we first got Jenkins was an elite corner. He was. I mean, that guy locked down Dez Bryant both games that we played him. He was elite for that 1 year, and he was very good with the Rams before that. I think I would go with Jenkins over DRC. And Malik, man, thanks so much for love, man. I really appreciate it. He says, Chris, what's your Twitter account name? Thank you for the $2 donation. I'm sure somebody in the chat could put that in. Hold on one second. I'm sure so. If one of my subscribers could put my Twitter link in the chat, I'd appreciate that. Thank you very much. But yeah, that's great, man. Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter. I've been tweeting a little bit more lately. I know a lot of people tweet. I wasn't using it very often, but it's actually a lot of fun. I love talking sports on Twitter. Let's see what we got here. Regardless of what happens this year, you think we draft a tackle next year? Probably. Yeah, I mean, well, you know, even if we took a tackle this year, we're still going to need another one. Unless we sign one in free agency, which they could in the following year's draft. But, yeah, probably, yeah. Unless one of these other guys works out. Who knows? Maybe Gates works out to be that other tackle. It's possible. You know, you don't need all first-round picks on that line. So, you got to wait and see how the year plays out and how the players play. But I would not rule it out. Let's put it that way. Oh, Kevin, man, thanks so much for the love, man. $4 donation. He says, left tackle at 4. Bad Dog at 36. Knight from UK Grant for life, man. I really appreciate that. Yeah, let's get Bad Dog at 36. He would probably get kicked. Oh, Yvonne, man, thanks for posting my Twitter link. I appreciate that. He would probably, another great subscriber of mine. He would probably, I think Bad Dog would probably be the most penalized football player in the National Football League. I went to the Giant Jet game with Bad Dog, and he literally, he's not playing. He wanted to rip Pat Shurmur's head off at the end of the game. We had to restrain him as we were leaving. He would probably be the most penalized player in the history of the NFL if the Giants were to draft him at 36. I think he would lead the league in that every year for taunting or whatever, unsportsmanlike conduct. I appreciate that, Moose. Thank you very much, man. We releasing Solder. I do not think that we're. I really don't think we're releasing Solder. No, it's possible. I know that he carries less of a dead cap, but I think after June something, I don't think so. I think Solder's here to stay this year. I think you need some experience and familiarity on that offensive line with Daniel Jones being in his second year. What's going on, Big Bang? Thanks for popping into the stream. Yeah, he would be the new Vontaze Burfict, no doubt about it. Yeah, Bad Dog don't mess around, Afghanistan. They traded up for DeAndre Baker last year. Anything is possible. They did. They absolutely did. And thanks for being here, Marjorie. Marjorie's a great subscriber of mine as well. And the Hub, man, you're there, man. The Hub's on the round table, no doubt about it. He says $2 donations is a round table idea. Sounds very interesting. Not gonna lie. Yeah, no, definitely. We'll do one of those StreamYard type StreamYards, but get a conversation going. You know, I don't want to have too many because then there's too many cooks in the kitchen. But maybe get 5, 6 Giants YouTubers, man. Would love to do that. You, Kid Blue, Bad Dog, myself, OGR, maybe, you know, one of the guys from Fireside, whatever. But I'd love to do something like that. Yeah, I think we should do that in a couple of days for sure, man. And, there you go. Gil, he changed his name. Gil Soto found the new emojis. I updated the emojis for the members. Now you guys could post cannolis. You could post the Mets. I think I did 1 or 2 other new ones. I was bored last night. I'm like, people always tell me to give them cannolis. So now the members could post cannolis. That's one of the new emojis. So there you go, Gil. Gil found it. I would love to have Ron Effect on the channel. I know Ron Effect hasn't been posting lately. I'd have him on too. Whoever wants to come on. Yeah, Saquon Barkley. That was the other one. I know I was bored. I forgot. I added Saquon Barkley too. Let's see what we got here. Do you think Cam Fleming will be as good as he was with the Patriots? I mean, Cam Fleming, if I remember correctly, I don't think he's ever started a full season in his entire career. I'm not looking at his stats right now, but for the most, I think he had 1 year with the Patriots where he started like 12 or 13 games. I mean, hopefully, but I don't want to bank on it. And he's not a long-term answer. It's a 1-year deal for a reason. So even if we're going to start Fleming, I still think you could address a tackle. But hopefully, whoever starts, I hope does a great job. Let's see what we got here. DJ comparison. That's one that I get asked a lot. DJ comparison. The one that I always say is Alex Smith with a better arm. He reminds me a lot of Alex Smith. Similar height, mobility, but I think Jones has a little bit better of an arm. I think they're both smart. They're cerebral. Alex Smith was very underrated in terms of athleticism. I think that's a fair comparison. I think some people hear Alex Smith and they're like, oh, no, he's much better. Alex Smith was a Pro Bowl quarterback when he had the right system, and I think Jones could be a little bit better than Alex Smith, but that's the guy he reminds me of, but I think Jones has a little more arm strength than Alex Smith. You gonna watch 40? Yeah, I'll watch it. I didn't know it was on, but yeah, hell yeah, I'll watch it. Yeah, Janet Tolles, he's great. He's great. Oh, Charlie, man, thanks so much, man, for the $5 donation. I really appreciate that. He says, sup, Chris, you definitely swayed me Simmons to offensive tackle recently, but don't be disappointed if we take Wirfs. He's the most athletic and great leader and teammate. I'm not gonna be upset if we take Wirfs. I've given my rankings, but at the end of the day, I'm a fan. I'm a fan, and I give my opinions just like everybody in this chat does. And I'm gonna get as long as they take a tackle, which is what I think they need to do. I'm gonna trust that Dave Gettleman does a good job at evaluating talent and thinks that he can get the most out of whichever player he takes in the system that they're trying to implement. So I'm gonna trust whatever they do as long as they take a tackle or they take Simmons. But I definitely see the upside with Wirfs. The guy's a fantastic athlete. I think he needs a little bit better coaching, but maybe the Giants feel like they have that. So, we'll see. But thanks again for the love. I appreciate it. Cesar Ruiz or Epinesa in the second round. That's tough. Epinesa is really falling down draft charts. I think I would. I think I would still go Ruiz. I think center's a bigger need. Who is our best pass rusher at the moment? Now, if Epinesa I thought was a supreme pass rusher, I would say Epinesa, but I don't think he is. Who is our best pass rusher at the moment? I'm gonna go with Zimenez. I right now, if you ask me, I said it. I think 2 nights ago on Bad Dogs, if I'm not mistaken. I think Zimenez is gonna lead the team in sacks this year. But it's tough to say, man. It's like throwing darts at a board. Fackrell could. Fackrell had a lot of success with Graham as his linebackers coach. He had 10.5 sacks last time Graham coached him with the Packers. And maybe Lorenzo Carter bursts out. We all had really high hopes for Carter last year. But if you ask me right now, I think Zimenez. I like the way Zimenez finished the season. I think he's a good football player. I think he's a tough football player. And I think he's gonna fit well with this scheme. I think he's pretty versatile. So I'm gonna go Zimenez. I think Zimenez is our best pass rusher right now. And Kaiser, thanks so much, man, for the $5 donation. I really appreciate it. He says, would you want Simmons and trade up into the 20s to get a top 4 tackle, or trade the 4 and get the 9 and Yannick? Okay, so we get Simmons at 4 and we still get a top 4 tackle. I'm taking option 1. I'm taking option 1 for the simple. Just based on money, financial purposes. I'm not paying anybody $22 million a year. I get the top linebacker in this year's draft, and I still get a top 4 tackle by trading back up. Option 1, I don't even think about that. Option 1 for sure. Yeah, definitely going option 1. And Malik, man, thanks so much, man, for the $3 donations. Hey, a little something for you for Easter. Get you a nice dinner. Thanks so much, Malik, man. I gotta give Malik a wrench, man. Can I do that now? Yes. I gotta give Malik a wrench. Malik dropped some of the best comments on some of my videos. I think to this day, he has the most likes outside of my reaction video and maybe 1 or 2 other videos that got like an obscene amount of views. But I think he has the most likes of any comment on my channel. When I was doing the coaching breakdown videos, I forgot which coach I was doing, and Malik says, every time I hear about one of these new coaches, I feel like we're assembling the Avengers. When I read that comment, I was laughing, man. And the Hub says, "Are you going Mike Oxlong or Mike?" Listen, man. At the end of the day, Hub, I think both those prospects are really good. I think Haywood Jablomi is really good as well. Yu Jass is a very good center. And there's a couple of other prospects. Seymour Butts has got talent as well. Yeah, keep your eyes out for those players. Thanks, man. Yeah, you got it, man, Malik. Al Pacino announced, what's going on, 44th Legendary? Thanks for popping in the stream, buddy. Trade down for Biadish if Ruiz is not there at 36. Thoughts? Sure. If the right deal presents itself, absolutely. If you think you get Biadish, later in the second round, you accumulate more draft picks, sure. Depending on who's there. It all depends on who's there. If there's a player you can't pass up. What's going on, Jake? Jake's going to be on the channel next week, by the way. That's my next week's subscriber. And I know I talked to a lot of you guys. I'm going to have a lot of the subscribers on here, and We Got Time's definitely going to be on soon. And there's a couple of others I've talked to, but Jake's going to be the subscriber next week. I'm really looking forward to having that. I'm trying to get different types of Giants fans. The first guy was the guy that gave me the idea. It was a great interview. Then I had Lloyd. Lloyd, an older Giant fan. He's seen all 4 Super Bowls. And now we're gonna have Jake. Jake's more of a younger Giants fan, so I'm interested to get his take, and that should be a really fun and interesting conversation. So I love doing that. That's one of my favorite things I do on YouTube. So I'm really looking forward to doing that next week with Jake. And Malik, man, thanks so much, man, for the love, man. $10 donation. He says, Chris, you know what's funny about that Gettleman was there, and he also got bored at everyone in the stadium, and Bad Dog would legally tackle a referee for not giving him a touchdown. What about me? Bad Dog, I'm telling you, it was, Malik, thank you so much, man, for the love, man. I really appreciate it. It was definitely an experience going to a Giant game with Bad Dog. I wish I got more of it on tape. There was a Jet fan that was sitting like 3 rows behind us. I think it was the row behind us. And he said something that set Bad Dog off. He turned his head, I don't even remember what it was, but Bad Dog looked like he wanted to rip his head off. Bad Dog is what he is. He the same way in person as he is on camera. But Malik, thanks so much for that, man. I really appreciate it. 5 Super Bowls. The Giants have won 4 Super Bowls, Bill. They've been to 5. They've won 4. What's going on, Nick? Thanks for popping in the stream. What do you think about drafting Cushenberry at 36 and Wills at 4? My thoughts on that? I'm in heaven. I'm in heaven. We get 2 hog mollies at the top of the draft. Let's go. You get the best center and the best tackle. I mean, we're taking the first tackle at 4, so you get your first tackle and probably the first center of your liking if you were to do that. And I've been one that's been preaching to fix the offensive line. I'm all for it. I'll be happy. We need a wide receiver back. We need a tall wide receiver, Noel. I've been saying that, I think everybody agrees on that. I see them in the 4 to 5 round range. I think we'll go wide receiver. Did you hear that Kraft may buy the Mets? I did not hear that, but I would welcome anybody to buy the Mets. Anybody is better than what we've had as Met fans for the last, since I've been watching the team. They're horrible. Well, to be fair, I always try to be fair. The Wilpons were never great owners, but they weren't horrible until the Ponzi scheme. And then after Madoff, they haven't spent nearly as much as they should be. They've been a small market team in a big market city. So they did used to spend a lot, but over the last 11, 12 years, they have not. And Met fans would be very happy if they sold the team, myself included. Let's see what we got here. Would you rather have Prime Peyton on the Giants or Prime Kobe on the Knicks? Oh, give me. I gotta go with Prime Peyton. Kobe's fantastic, but to me, yeah, I'm going Prime Peyton. I'm going with the quarterback. To me, Peyton's the greatest quarterback. I know he doesn't have the postseason success, but Peyton Manning, to me, in terms of the regular season, is the greatest regular season quarterback ever. I'm going Peyton. Yeah, give me Peyton. I think our defense was way worse than our offense. I'd rather work on the D first, then address the O-line. And, listen, Marjorie, I get it. Yeah, that's the crossroads we're at, and I don't think anybody's wrong. Just a matter of preference. And I agree with you, Marjorie, that the offense is more advanced than the defense. I'll agree with you on that. I've made my case for why I want to go O-line. But I think that there's valid arguments for both sides. I'll agree with you on that, though. The defense is definitely worse than the offense is right now. I can't argue that point. That's for sure. And that's why I completely get the argument for going defense. Malik, man, thanks so much, man, for the $2 donation. Little something for Easter Sunday. Make sure you eat. Thanks for the love, man. I really appreciate that. And LA Lou with the $2 donation, he says, Kobe wins championship. God, I can't say that in front of LA Lou. He's a big Laker fan. Oh, my mistake. He did win more championships. I can't argue that. And Kobe was great. I mean, Kobe's a top 10 player ever, so he's definitely a great basketball player. And Chris Leon with the $2 donation says, that was a nice interview you did with Gettleman. And thank you, Chris. That's funny. When I did that interview with Lloyd, I honestly didn't ever think about the entire interview that he looked like Gettleman. I must have got 20 comments after that interview, and everybody was saying, I thought as soon as I clicked on the video that you got Dave Gettleman on the channel. Everybody thought that he looked like Dave Gettleman. And he talked like him. He said a lot of things that Dave Gettleman says, so maybe people thought it was Dave I had on the channel. Should have got more views if that was the case. Noah says, fire Gettleman right. Yeah, a lot of Giants fans are with you on that. Any way we can dig ourselves out of this Leo Williams hole? Yeah, draft well. Daniel Jones gets better. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, it's a bad trade, but it's not the end of the world. It's a bad trade. But, we could definitely overcome it. He's only on contract for 1 year. It's $17 million a year. It's not like it's going to set the franchise back 3 or 4 years. Yeah, we could overcome it. Sorry I'm late. Never got on. Sam, are you kidding me? Thank you for popping in, man. You never have to apologize. Thanks for being here, buddy. War Dog says, Cohen, Hernandez, and Darling are way better than the Yankees announcer. Would you agree? Listen, I'm biased. I'm a Met fan. And I don't watch a lot of Yankee games, but I definitely watch some. Call me biased. I don't care. The one thing that the Mets have over the Yankees and every team in baseball, as far as I'm concerned, is the play-by-play announcers. I think it's a perfect. I think they're perfect. I really do. I think you have a perfect balance of the goofy guy with Hernandez. Darling is fantastic. I mean, that guy was born to be an announcer for baseball. I'm with you. I think they have the best team in the booth in all of baseball. I think they're amazing. I think they're fantastic. And thank you so much, Big Bang, with the $5 donation. I really appreciate that. He says, love that you had Licata on. Yeah, no, I hope I get Sal back on the channel. Sal is a great guy. We talked for about 15 minutes before we went live. Great guy. I know a lot of people think he's loud and in your face, and I'm sure he is, but really nice guy. And he didn't have to do that. One of my subscribers reached out to him on Twitter, asked him if he'd want to do a interview with me, and I think he messaged me like 20 minutes later. And really nice guy, it was a pleasure, I hope I get to talk to him again. I had a lot of fun doing that. I was a little nervous at first, I'm not going to lie to you. But it was awesome. It was cool to have Sal on the channel. Let's see what we got here. Gary Cohen or Mike? Oh, I go Gary Cohen. Vance, I go Gary Cohen. I don't like Michael K, to be honest with you. I don't really like Michael K. Mets and Knicks play-by-play better. The Knicks are great, too. I mean, how could you not like Clyde? I mean, really. I mean, Clyde is the best. He really is. Clyde is probably the coolest human being who's ever lived. He's the only person I know that could get away with wearing those suits and look good in them. Could you imagine me wearing one of those suits that he wears? But he looks good. What's going on, Pedisons? Thanks for popping in the stream. Mark says, Jokers, Bradbury played in the division with Julio, Thomas Jones, and Everton. He locked them all up. How is he not top 10? You're right, and that's one thing people point to. Listen, I like Bradbury. But one thing I'll say about Bradbury, when you look at the film, it was a lot of zone coverage. I try to be as fair as I can. I went back, I looked at the film. It was a lot of zone coverage, but he definitely did a great job in that aspect. He definitely played. I don't even think it's a debate. I think he played in the toughest division in football in terms of going up. That division probably is the best wide receiver talent. When you look at the wide receivers he went up against, so. That is a strong point for Bradbury, no doubt about it. He had to go up against those guys 6 games a year, almost half of his schedule. So, yeah, I definitely have confidence that Bradbury is going to be a solid corner for the New York Giants. I'm not trying to take anything away from him. I think he's a very good cornerback. Chris Leon says, $2 says, Chris, when are you going to join the Yankees? I can't join the Yankees. I can't join the Yankees. I mean, that would be like asking you, when are you going to join the Jets? I can't join. I've been rooting for the Mets my whole life. I can't do it. I wish if I go back, give me a DeLorean. I'll go back in time. I'll switch sides, but I can't do it now. Can't do it. I've been through too much heartache. $2 donation from Hot Nichols. He said, you ever have license plate guy on the show? Thank you so much, Hot Nichols, for love. And yeah, people have asked me about him. I would love to have license plate guy on the show. You know what? I'll reach out to him. Why not? You know, what's the worst that they're going to do? People are going to ignore me and say no. That's the one thing I've learned. I haven't really started doing it. I'm going to start reaching out to people. And yeah, you know what? That'll be the first guy I reach out to tomorrow. I'll message license plate guy on Twitter and see if he'd like to come on the show and talk Giants football. That'd be a lot of fun. You know, he's pretty much kind of, our signature fan. So that'd be really cool if I get him on the channel. So I'll reach out to him next. And, Thigh Herkle, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but thank you so much for the $5 donation. I really appreciate it. Do you think this stacked coaching staff and Judge's style of tell me what they're good at, this team will be stronger aside from the draft picks? Yeah, I definitely think the coaching staff is better. I don't even think it's a debate. When you look at the coaches that we brought in, you've got what do we got, like 3 former head coaches on our coaching staff? And then you got Bielema, who's a former head coach at 2 major college programs. You've got, Burns, the former running back coach at Alabama. The credentials for these guys are outstanding. He brought in an all-star coaching staff. So, yeah, I think our coaching staff should make our team better just by default. Now, that may not result in a lot more wins because we're playing a really tough schedule. And you still have to learn new systems. That's another thing that we got to take into account. Both the offense and defense are learning entirely new systems. And they don't have a lot of time to do it, with the whole pandemic. So we'll see. But I definitely think we have a much better coaching staff. And, yeah, I think long-term for sure, if not this year, definitely long-term, I think that we'll be better for it. Absolutely. But thank you for the love. I really appreciate it. And, Malik, man, thank you so much. $10 donations. We should draft Chase Claypool, watch Rookie of the Year, and in every close game, lob it up to him and always touch that. And, Chris, I will love to interview with you. Malik, I'll definitely have you on as well, man. One at a time. Obviously, I can't do everybody at once, but I plan on, once a week. Like I said, I plan on having as many people as I could get on as I can. And I want everybody to have their voice heard. Anybody that wants to come on, that wants to show their face on YouTube, you're more than welcome to come on and talk Giants. So, definitely, man. And as far as what you said first, Rookie of the Year, anything's possible. Anything's possible. If I had to pick a Rookie of the Year right now, how do you like Love at safety? I think he's solid. I don't know if he's going to be the safety. We're going to have to see what we do in the draft, but I think he's solid. If I had to pick a Rookie of the Year right now on the offensive side of the football, I got to go with one of the 2 wide receivers, Judy or Lamb. I think it's going to depend on which team they end up with, but that will be my pick for Offensive Rookie of the Year, depending on whichever guy I feel like gets put in the better situation. But yeah, you never know. You could get a 3rd, 4th round wide receiver who wins Rookie of the Year. A lot of people like Claypool. If he gets in the right spot, who knows? It's not a horrible dark horse pick. And Tyler, man, thanks for the love, man. I really appreciate it. $2 donation says, hopefully Judge makes Bradbury our Gilmore. Hopefully. Gilmore, the Patriots paid him a lot, and the Patriots don't usually do that. And, they got him from the Bills, and, yeah, he turned out to be probably the best corner in football, if not top 3, and is a vital part to that Patriots defense. And, yeah, coaching, you look at the Patriots are a perfect example. And, like I said, I'm not expecting Bill Belichick, but look what they get out of their players. A lot of those guys, and no, Gilmore definitely had high expectations, but a lot of those guys don't. And they turn them into great players, and hopefully Judge and the coaching staff can do that. I knew a chick that could do everybody else. All right there, Big Daddy. Appreciate that, Josh Warren. Thanks for popping into the stream. Entertainer, how come you nice to people like that? How come I'm nice to people like what? I try to be nice to everybody. Anybody... That's why I hard and like all the comments, man. Anybody that takes the time out of their day, whether or not they agree with my opinion, to watch my videos, to drop a comment, that means the world to me, man. I always try to show appreciation. I don't know who you're talking about, but I try to be nice to everybody. Big Daddy, now that's entertainment. Lloyd said. Jerry Jr. Yeah, AJ, I'm with you. Judy or Lamb. Like I said, whoever ends up in the better situation, I think will be my pick. And David, I appreciate that. Tana, I don't consider myself old, but I've seen all 5 Super Bowls. Did you watch Super Bowl 35? I did not see. I've seen every Super Bowl but the one in '86. I remember the '90 Super Bowl, but I was very young. I was 5. I was 5. I do remember it. It's actually one of my childhood memories that I remember. I don't remember the game, but the one memory I have of the 1990 Super Bowl, or 90, was it 90? I think it was 90. Between the Bills and the Giants. We were at a party. I think it was a guy that worked with my dad. We were at a party, and I was sitting on the floor, and it was the end of the game, right before the field goal. My dad left the room because he couldn't watch, and he went into the bathroom while they kicked the field goal. And everybody started screaming when they missed the field goal. My dad ran out, and he was going crazy. That's the one memory I have about that Super Bowl. I don't remember watching it. Obviously, I remember the Ravens Super Bowl, which I don't like to, in great detail. And I remember the last two that they won. Let's see what we got here. Eno Benjamin is my favorite sleeper running back prospect. Yeah, I mean they interviewed Eno Benjamin a couple of months ago, right after the Senior Bowl. Versatile running back. I don't think they're going to look at him. He's not the type of running back that I think they need, but I do like him. When I watch highlights, the guy is really shifty. He's an interesting back. Let's see what we got. What's going on, Royal? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Do you think Garrett leaves Shoplinski? I'm so impressed. I really don't. Because I think he's got to prove himself. He's got to kind of improve his image. He was kind of known as a bad head coach with the Cowboys. He didn't have a horrible record, but the team underachieved with all the talent that they had. I think Garrett's here for at least 2 years, and I don't think that you want Daniel Jones learning 3 offenses in his first 3 years. Now, if you transfer it to Shoplinski, at least it's his quarterback coach. So I get that line of thinking. And we'll see, but I definitely could see Shoplinski being a head coach at some point, and if not, definitely an offensive coordinator. I do like that hire a lot. That was one of my favorite hires. And Peter, thanks so much, man, for the, Richie Rich, man. Thank you so much for becoming a member, man. I really appreciate that. Welcome to the channel, buddy. And Peter Biscardi with the $5 donation. He says, if Ruiz is gone at 36, do you think the Giants would wait till 99 or 110 for a center? I don't know. I think they could definitely still go Cushenberry. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all going to come down to their draft board, but here's what I will say, Peter. I think if Ruiz is there, based on everything I've read, based on the fact that they've interviewed this guy now for a second time, he killed it at the Combine. He's a Jersey kid. He's known as a good locker room guy. Everything I've read about him screams that the Giants would take him if he was there at 36. So I do think if he's there at 36, unless somebody unforeseen is there, I do think they would take him. But if he's not, I would say there's probably a stronger possibility they could wait till the 3rd round to take a center. But they certainly could take Cushenberry. They certainly could take Biedish. I mean, Gettleman's going to take who he wants. We know that better than anybody, so we'll have to wait and see. But obviously, if Ruiz is there, I would say there's a greater possibility we go center in the 2nd round. I'm sick of one-year holdovers. I'm sick of Mike Remmers. I'm sick of Jalapenos. I want long-term answers, and he's not one of them. So, no, I'm not. I want to get a long-term answer. But if we have to for 1 year, hopefully you can hold the fort for 1 year. Shooky, man, thanks so much for the $2 donation. What's going on, Jared? Thanks for popping in the stream. Joe Burrow drops to number 4. Do you draft him? No, we don't. We trade. That's for damn sure. Joe Burrow's not dropping to 4. But if he did, yeah, we trade. But no, you can't. I like Joe Burrow a lot. I love what I see on film. Can't take a quarterback. Can't. We just took Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones showed promise. Can't do it. I love Joe Burrow, though. I think Joe Burrow is going to be really, really good. But if Joe Burrow's there, you better trade down. You better trade down. But I don't see it happening. I don't see it not happening. Somebody would if the Bengals are taking him. But if the Bengals passed on him, somebody would jump us before we even had the opportunity to take Burrow. Somebody would jump to 2. Somebody would jump to 3. The Redskins would probably take him. But if the Redskins didn't, somebody would jump to 3. The Lions could even take him. That's how good Burrow is. I would be shocked if Burrow gets to the 4th pick. If the Bengals don't take Burrow, yes, they're taking Burrow. Tank next year and hold Trevor hostage. We're not tanking. I mean, we might not be good, but we're not tanking. Take Simmons. I'm leaning actually Jaguars. I think the Jaguars are a complete mess. I think they're in complete rebuild mode. I think they're trying to do what the Dolphins did last year, and I think the Jaguars are tanking. And that's why I don't really see them trading up. They're going to try to trade and get more assets, but I think the Jaguars are going to end up getting Trevor Lawrence at the end of the day. I could be wrong. Maybe it'll be somebody else, but I think the Jaguars get Trevor Lawrence. Devon, man, you never have to apologize for being late. Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Malik, man, thanks so much for the $10 donation. He says, Chris, I remember my memory, Super Bowl 42. I was so young. People were saying the Giants did the impossible. But 46, I remember that. Oh, my God, I started to cry and said they beat him again. I knew this was my team. Yeah, man, I had goose. The first the Super Bowl 42 against the undefeated Patriots. First off, I never saw that coming. I never saw the run coming. And then when they even got there, obviously I went in optimistic. I was excited. My Giants were in the Super Bowl. But if I'm being completely honest with you, I didn't think they were going to win that game. And when they won that game, keep in mind, this is the first time any of my teams has ever won a championship. And I've only seen 2 championships in my life between all 3 of my teams. Celebrating. I went to the parade. That was a great. Solid safety. A couple of my subscribers have pointed me to him. Solid safety. Some of the things I've read about him I don't love. I read that he's kind of not the hardest of workers. One scouting report that I read. But he's a solid prospect for sure. Guy we could definitely be looking at in the maybe the round 4. I don't know where he's going in mocks. Round 4, I think. What's up, Andrew? Thanks for popping into the stream. You were just of age to 42. Yeah, I was at Super Bowl 42. I was up all night after that Super Bowl. I was up all night. What's up, Bavith? Grant Delpit in the second. It's possible. Antoine Winfield's another safety. Those are the 2 safeties I think you're looking at if you're going safety in the second round. I like Delpit a lot. I've loved Delpit. I actually had Delpit going to the Cowboys, I think, in my first mock at 17. He's moved down. Winfield's, I think, more known as a center fielder. That might be the type of guy we're looking for if we're going safety. But I like Delpit. Yeah, I don't know if they'll take him, but I like him. Yeah, 1986 Mets, I was alive, but that doesn't count. I was 11 months old when the Mets won the World Series. Let's see what we got here. Chris, I've been thinking, why take Wirfs, the high ceiling guy, over the sure thing Wills, but we have one of the best line coaches in the NFL. Yeah, I think that's the argument, Sam, and I think if they take him, I think that's the thinking. I think that Wills is more of a pro-ready prospect, and the only thing that makes sense to me, if that's the case, why they would take Wirfs is they think he has a higher ceiling, and they think their coaching could get the most out of him. I think that's the thinking there. And obviously, Big Ten offensive linemen have had a really good track record in the NFL. Frosty, man, I love when you guys apologize for being late. Are you kidding me? You guys never have to apologize, man. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for being here. And I hope everybody's having a good time. I hope everybody's staying safe out there. I hope everybody's getting ready for Easter. And thank you guys for keeping me company. Thank you guys for coming in here, talking Giants football, talking about all these prospects, and even if you're talking about Seymour Butts and, hey, would you blow me with some of your comments. But I appreciate everybody for being here. David, you never got to apologize for being late. Yeah, I had to color Easter eggs. Well, there you go, Peter. Do you like Strahan? Of course I like Strahan. Of course I like Strahan. Are you kidding me? Now, I didn't meet Strahan in person like Bad Dog did, so I got nothing negative to say about the guy. But Michael Strahan's the man. Of course I love Strahan. I remember, actually, in 2000, when we were playing the Ravens in the Super Bowl, I remember Strahan came out and said that if they won the Super Bowl, rather than getting a Super Bowl ring, he was going to get a Super Bowl tooth to fill in the gap between his 2 front teeth. Didn't end up winning, but I always wanted to see if he was going to actually do it. He didn't do it when we won in 2008, so I guess he wasn't going to do it, but he did say that when we played the Ravens. And Mark, man, thanks so much, man, for the $5 donation. He says, I'm like 95% sure it will be Simmons, Wirfs, or trade down. Simmons could be the glue to our defense and make us a top 15 defense. I want Simmons. I'm definitely leaning offensive line, but I'm definitely not shying away from Simmons either. And I agree that I think he would fit what we're trying to do on defense very well. I think that's why Giants fans are very passionate about getting him. For sure, man. And I do think they favor Wirfs. That might change. Who knows? Maybe they see film over the next 12 days and their opinion changes. But I'm leaning Wirfs. And, who knows who to believe. But I'm leaning Wirfs as well. Yo, Tana, is it just me or do the Browns look like they will suck in a couple of years? Yeah, I don't know their salary cap situation. I mean, at the end of the day, the Browns, it's going to come down to Baker Mayfield. They have all the pieces in place to be successful. Now, maybe they need to improve the defense a little bit, but Myles Garrett is great as long as he doesn't smash people in the face. Denzel Ward has a lot of potential. On the offense, they got more weapons than you need, and they've certainly improved that offensive line, and I think they're going to improve it even more because I think they're taking tackle in the first round. So the Browns really have no excuse this year not to be a good football team. We'll see how it plays out. I don't, like I said, the long-term success, it's going to come down to Baker Mayfield. Can he keep his head on straight? Is he the real deal? He obviously struggled last year once teams got a book on him, and a lot of people point to the fact that he beats up on really bad teams. So it'll come down to Mayfield. If Mayfield's going to be a top 10 to 15 quarterback, I think the Browns will be fine. If he's not, they'll be in trouble. Christopher, do you still scout Pee Wee? Yes, all the time. All the time. I send the tape to the Giants. I actually just went to a local YMCA a couple weeks ago. And I was scouting out some, I think there were 7-year-old quarterbacks, Bavith. And Blue Jackets, man, thanks so much for the $5 donation. I really appreciate it. And can somebody post the link to the Discord? Irish New York Sports, great subscriber of mine, is asking how we can join the Discord. If somebody could post that, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And Blue Jacket says the Browns suck in a few years, most salary cap in the NFL, plus a good tackle in this year's draft potentially. Yeah, like I said, I wasn't fully aware of your salary cap. I don't follow the Browns. If you have the most salary cap space, I think you guys got a really bright future. Like I said, Blue Jackets, I think it's going to come down to Mayfield. At the end of the day, that's what it's going to come down to. But you guys have all the pieces. I think maybe you need to improve that defense a little more. But your offense should be really good. I mean, Chubb's a really good running back as well. I didn't even mention him. The Browns got a bright future. It's going to come down to the defense and the coaching. Of course, the coaching is going to play a factor as well. But the Browns definitely have potential, that's for sure. Ryan Clay says, you are stupid. What's up, Ryan? Why don't you do nonsense? I'm going to do it. We'll have a fun stream after the draft. After the draft, we'll do it maybe once a month, something like that. We'll definitely do it once in a while. Breaking news, Rich Eisen beats Epinesa in the 40-yard dash. I believe that. Breaking news, think of the fattest person on earth might beat him in the 40-yard dash. My God, that was shocking. He ran like a defensive end run like, what did he run, like a 5.06 or something like that? That was shocking. That's why his draft stock has dropped. Big Bang 75, thank you so much for the love, man. I really appreciate it. $5 donation. He says, 86, I was 11. The Giants, the Mets champ. Best year of my life. Hoping to have another year like that before I die. Big Bang, that was, I didn't live it, but that's a magical year in New York sports. When over the course of history, you think of the magical years in New York sports. Obviously, we're not Jet fans, but 69, you got the Mets, you got the Jets. The Knicks were great then, too. So that was a great time period for New York sports. The late 60s, early 70s. Mets made another World Series at 73. I'm sure the Yankees were competitive in the 60s. I know they were. But that was a great time in New York sports. The time where New York sports were at their best for me in my lifetime, the early 90s, the Knicks and Rangers, obviously, both in the finals in 94. The Rangers win the Cup. The Yankees win the World Series in 96. I would say New York sports was at its pinnacle, even though the Giants weren't winning then, in my lifetime. Probably from like 92 to like 2002. 92 to like 2002. Then, obviously the Yankees won another World Series and the Giants won 2 Super Bowls. But that 10-year period, New York sports was really, really at the top of their game. Will the Patriots trade up for Love to stay firm? That's a good question. The Patriots historically like to trade down and accumulate picks, but of course need a quarterback potentially. Unless they feel like the guy they got is the guy of the future. I like Love. I think Love with Belichick and the Patriots could do great things. I don't know if Love's going to get there. Love is one of the more interesting prospects in this year's draft. Because to me, Love is the type of quarterback, if he really impresses a team, I could see him as going as early as 6 to the Chargers. But I could see him dropping to the back end of the first as well. He could go to like Green Bay at 30. He could slip to the second round. He could go to the Pats. He could go to the Saints. Love could go to a lot of places. He's an interesting one. I honestly don't know where he's going to end up. Wasn't alive to watch the 90s Knicks. Man, we need to bring those days. Yeah, the 90s Knicks was, I say it all the time, that might be my favorite individual team since I've been watching sports. I love those 90s Knicks teams. They were tough. They were gritty. That's when people love basketball in this city. I mean, I miss those days. I mean, I was a kid, but I love those teams. No, I don't want to. I don't want to trade down that far. I don't want to trade down that far. I get it, but no, I don't want to trade down that far. I mean, you're talking 20 picks, and now you're giving up the offensive tackle. You're not getting a top 4 offensive tackle. You're probably not even getting Caleb Chase on there. Kenneth Murray. No, not doing it. The Islanders weren't too shy. The Islanders had 4 years in a row. Good point. I'm not a big hockey guy, but great point. They in the late 70s, I think to the early 80s, if I'm not mistaken, they won 4 straight Stanley Cups. I dealt Hold'em to 26 among starters. Really? Listen, man, at the end of the day, underestimating us, so I like when I see that. You know, if I'm being fair, I'd have to really think about it and think about every quarterback situation. I don't think he should be 26. I definitely think he should be right around at least 20, 21. But I'd have to look at each team, to be completely honest, and give my fair assessment. But at the end of the day, I don't care what he's ranked. I know people look at that and it's fun, whatever. Use that for motivation. That's the way I look at it. Use it for motivation. Eli Manning was probably ranked 26 at some points in his career, too. I don't care. Win football games. That's all I care about. But, yeah, Daniel Jones is going to be a good quarterback. I don't care what PFF tells me. I don't care what any of these sites tell me. Give this guy the foundation that he needs to succeed, and he's going to get the job done. I'm confident in saying that. I just don't know if they're going to give him the foundation he needs to succeed. I need to see that because I didn't see it for the last half of Eli Manning's career. I need to see them give that to him. If you give that to him, I think Daniel Jones is going to get the job done. But we got to give him what we gave Eli the first half of his career. Let's see what we got here. Who has a better chance to trade for Yannick? I would say the Giants just for cap reasons alone. I think if the Eagles traded for Ngakoue, they'd be silly. I mean, they have no cap space as is. Now you're going to take on a guy for a 1-year rental on a franchise tag, or you're going to have to sign him the following year and you have no space. I never saw the Eagles as a viable option to trade for Ngakoue. Never added up. If they do, it would be stupid. Period. Unless they think they're going to win a Super Bowl. To me, it's a 1-year rental if you do that, or you're going to have to. Eagles have $21 million cap this year. You know what they got in cap next year? I think it's like 14 because they backloaded everything. And that's not even including the draft and everything else. All their salaries go up dramatically after this year. Yes, this year they have more cap than the Giants right now. I think the Giants have 16, they have 21. But next year, they might have the worst cap in the league, or if not the worst, they're among the worst in the league because they have backloaded everything. So I think it would be a silly trade for the Eagles to make. I went to game 4 of the 6. That's all. My dad went to game 6 and 7 of the 86 World Series. But that's awesome, man. Do you think Saquon is going to be the best running back of the decade? If he stays healthy and we get him an offensive line, yes. There's no reason he shouldn't. Anybody that's unbiased, and I know I'm a Giants fan, and I know I'm wearing his jersey, so people are going to automatically think I'm biased. I try to be as unbiased as I can on this channel. I don't tell you that Daniel Jones is the second coming of Joe Montana. I don't tell you the Giants are going to the playoffs this year. Anybody with an eye, in my opinion, we're not talking stats. You watch the players play. Anybody with 2 eyes, if they watch Barkley play and compare him to any other running back, he's the best. I'm sorry. Running backs can't do what he can do. At his size and his combination of size and speed, I've never seen it. When you factor in the complete package, his hands, his speed, his size, he's a once-in-a-generation back. He's the best running back in football in terms of talent. You give him what he needs, you give him the offensive line, he's going to get the job done, and he's going to get it done in a big way. Oh, sincere, man. Thank you so much for the $2 donation. I really appreciate it. He says, Dave G building this team similarly to the Carolina on D. That's a good question. I'm trying to remember obviously Bradbury. There's a common denominator. He had the big D tackle. What's his name? The names escape me, but he had a really good D tackle there. I think he drafted in the 3rd or 4th round. Yeah, I'm sure he is. At the end of the day, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and I'm sure he is trying to build the team in a similar way. Yeah, I'm sure he is. We all know Gettleman's philosophy on both offense and defense. He wants big big football players. He wants to have the biggest line on both sides of the ball. And he's definitely done that on the defensive side. Now he's got to do it on the offensive side. I think that's why a lot of people think he could be interested in Becton. He likes massive football players. Quan Short, that's who it was. I wasn't looking at the chat if somebody said it. I didn't cheat. But he definitely, yes, he probably is. It's a good point you bring up. Demonic, thanks so much for the $10 donation, man. I really appreciate it, man. Thanks for being a great subscriber. Regardless of who we take it for, do you think it would be smart to take at least 2 tackles, not including the center, in this draft? One to start and the other to develop. Danny Dimes needs protection. I have no issues at all. I don't necessarily want to. I don't want to take 2 tackles in the first 2 rounds or 3 rounds personally, but I have no issue taking a tackle around 5, 6, 7. For depth, I have no issues with that whatsoever. Even if they don't develop into a starter, you need players on your bench. For injuries, things like that. If players don't go as scheduled, so yeah, I think we need to do that. I'm completely for that for sure, man. Who knows? Like we said earlier, who knows with Gates? Gates showed something. Maybe he could be that guy, You look at a lot of great offensive lines. You will find an undrafted player here and there that really works out. Maybe Gates will be that for the Giants, but I don't want to bank on it. I want to continue to accumulate talent on the offensive line, and may the best man win. Thank you so much for the love, man. I really appreciate it. Chris, are you a Yankee hater? If I'm being honest, I'll tell you this. When I was in high school, yes. Yes, I was. Because when you're in high school as a Mets fan, you got to deal with all the Yankee fans. And I grew up in a really tough time to be a Mets fan. The Yankees are winning World Series after World Series after World Series. And the Yankees beat the Mets when I was in high school in 2000. But now that I'm an adult, I don't like the Yankees. I'm not going to tell you that I sit there and root for them, but I don't hate them. It's not like I'm going out of my way to I hope they lose, but I'm never going to root for the Yankees. I'll tell you that. I'm not a hater, but I will not root for them. So if that answers your question. But I definitely used to hate them. Let's see. Oh, Tyler, man, thanks so much for the $2 donation. I really appreciate that. He says, can we still get Simmons at 9 if we get lead? The Panthers would have to pass up on him. And if we did that, then I guess you go center at 36. Yeah, theoretically it's possible. Do I think Simmons would get there? Probably not. I think Simmons gets tackles that are left out of the top 4, and Simmons is there. They very well may go Simmons. Yeah, it's possible. Not likely. Round 1, Okudah. Yeah, Joe, I saw you post that in my community notes earlier that you wanted to take. I know you're a Browns fan, but you would take Okudah if you were the Giants with the first round pick. So you don't think the Lions are taking Okudah then? Because most people think the Lions are taking Okudah, but maybe you think the Lions are going to trade down and the Giants will have the option to take him at 4. We may not get Simmons. It's possible, Sadan. Simmons could go 3 to the Lions. I personally don't think he will. The Lions added Jamie Collins, who's a similar player. I'm not, he's obviously up there in age, but I think they're going to get a cornerback. I do. I think they're going to take Okudah, or at least that's their plan. You were in an Insta post I saw. I think it was from JB, damn it. Thanks for popping. Yeah, somebody showed that to me. I think Bad Dog was as well. Thumbs up. I appreciate that, Afghanistan. Yeah, if you haven't done so, please hit that thumbs up. And if you like what you're watching, subscribe, ring the bell. I'll try to have a couple of videos up tomorrow as well. Hope everybody has a happy Easter. We'll see if I have time for Easter. And then I'll be live on Monday as well. So I'll be live Monday, Wednesday, and I think Thursday or Friday for the Giants show this week on this channel. And then, then the draft's going to be here before we know it. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Has Logan Ryan signed yet? Not to my knowledge. And I think I would have heard that, so I don't think he has, no. Yankees have the best starting rotation. Yes, they do. I don't know if they have the best. Yankees, in my opinion, probably have the best team in baseball, if we ever play baseball. Is Wirfs worth the 4th? Harrison, like I've said all along, I don't know. If you're asking for my honest opinion, I don't know if any of these tackles. I want to trade down. That's really what I want to do. But if I'm forced to stay at 4 and they take the tackle, I'm going to be fine with it. But I think you can definitely make an argument that none of them are worth the 4th. But a tackle is still very important. I would like to trade down, but if you're stuck at 4, if they take the tackle, you're not going to hear me upset at all. But I would like to trade down in either scenario, whether we take Simmons or whether we take a tackle. You go back, you look at the last 10 years, everybody likes to point at the tackle. I made a video on this. Everybody likes to point at the tackle being a position that you can't take in the top 4 picks. You know how many middle linebackers? And I only went back the last, I think, 9 or 10 drafts. But you know how many middle linebackers have been drafted? And I recognize that Simmons is versatile. You know how many middle linebackers have been drafted in the last 10 drafts in the top 4 picks? Zero. So, for all the people that make the argument that it's too early to take a tackle there, and I get it, every year is different, and people feel Simmons is the best prospect, but I don't know. Yeah, you could definitely make an argument that it's too early. I would like to trade down, but you have to have a partner to be able to do it. Give me that O-line, baby. Giants football. D-Rose, man. You preach to the choir with me, man. I like the O-line. Chris, Derek Brown at 4 is the best. Ryan, I'm gonna jump right through the computer screen. Right through the computer screen right now. I'm gonna grab you by the neck, Ryan. Thank you so much for the $2 donation. I really appreciate that. Wago Dharma with the $2 donation. 2-year plan, fix the line because we play neglected for years. Listen, man, I say it all the time. Eli Manning's my favorite Giant ever. I had to sit back and watch the second half of his career get ruined because Jerry Reese couldn't establish an offensive line after the offensive line that was provided to him from the prior regime. I had to watch Eli Manning's career get ruined. I don't want to see the same thing happen to Daniel Jones. That's why I'm so outspoken about the offensive line. And any Giant fan that watches the team realize that. The Giants' offensive line was so bad, Jerry Reese's philosophy, rather than fixing the offensive line because he couldn't fix it, it wasn't because he didn't try. He just couldn't find a good offensive lineman in the draft. So what he did was he brought in a guy whose offensive philosophy was to get the ball out in 2 seconds because he knew if he couldn't do that, his quarterback was going to get killed. Ben McAdoo was like the 2-second offense. That's what he did. He said, oh, well, we're not able to throw the football. We can't block. So let's bring in a guy who's going to get the ball out in 2 seconds so we can hide our crappy offensive line. Fix the line. I've been saying that for 10 years. And, Elijah, man, thanks so much for the $7 donation. I really appreciate it. He says, do you think Ingram has a breakout year? If he stays healthy, yes. I think I say that every year. I thought he was going to have a breakout year last year too. If he stays healthy, if he plays 16 games, yes. I think this is an offense that features the tight end. The Air Coryell offense historically, the tight ends have thrived in it. Evan Ingram, there's no reason that he can't be the best weapon in this offense. He is, in terms of the passing game, the best weapon in this offense. He is. He's a matchup nightmare at the tight end spot. He just gets hurt too much. But yes, if he plays for the Giants this year, which I think at this point he's going to, I don't think he'll be traded, and he's healthy, I think it will be a breakout year for Ingram. I think he will have a big year, yes. Do I like Wirfs? I don't hate Wirfs. He's not my first choice, but I don't hate Wirfs. I think you could at least make the argument that Wirfs has a higher ceiling than any offensive lineman in this draft. He's not the safest. That's why I'm not, I'd rather go with the safer option. But, yeah, I like Wirfs. I definitely like Wirfs. Is Zimenez a starter next year? Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I don't know if it'll be the official starter. It'll be interesting. And, we don't know what they're going to do in the draft yet either. But if I had to guess, yes. But we'll see. Fackrell, Carter, him. He's definitely going to get his snaps. Let's put it that way. And I think he'll get more snaps than last year. I don't know if he'll be in the official starting lineup. I would think he will be, though. But like I said, depends on what they do in the draft. Almost 10, and Ryan, thanks for that, man. Thanks for being a great mod. He'll see your, let's see what we got here. Almost 10 days left to the draft. Yeah, I know. I said that at the beginning. I said 10 days because I'm bad at math. I don't know why I said 10 days. I don't know why I said 10 days. It's 12 days. Let's see what we got here. Chris, I heard Hayward Jabloni is sleeping. Yeah, he's good. He's a good long snapper. Good long snapper. Hayward Jabloni. Do you think the Redskins would take a tackle instead of Chase Young because they have Montez Sweat and Ryan Kerrigan? Yeah, that's what a lot of people have said. I think people that are wishful thinking that Chase Young could potentially fall to the Giants. And you could at least make the argument. Actually, no, it's a fact that a more pressing need for the Washington Redskins is an offensive tackle. Ryan's in the chat. He's an educated Redskin fan. I think he would tell you that it's a more pressing need. I think that they have at least a somewhat adequate pass rush, and they definitely need a left tackle, and they have a quarterback that's not very mobile. So, yes, I think you can make the argument that a tackle is a bigger need for the Redskins. But at the end of the day, I think Chase Young is too good of a prospect to pass up, and I think they're going to take him. I don't think you pass on the edge rusher there. That's my honest opinion. He's from the area. I think they're taking Chase Young. But you could make an argument that the tackle's a bigger need for the Redskins. I'll agree with that. Let's see what we got here. What round 2 pass rusher you think will be there? Round 3, I'm taking center. I mean, I've talked about Bourne, but I think Bourne could go to the Dolphins. I think Bourne could go to the Patriots. Matos is a possibility. I still think he probably goes in the back end of the 20s. Okwara, I think Okwara would be there. He could go a little later than when we're picking at 36. He could go anywhere from like 36 to probably mid-second round. Trying to think of another guy. I like Okwara, though. I think Okwara's got upside. I would say, yeah, those would be the guys. You're looking at those 3 guys. Maybe I'm forgetting somebody, but I think those are the 3 guys you're looking at. I hope they take the tackle. Yep. Okwara could work. I like Gross Matos. Yeah, well, Gross Matos has some familiarity with the coaching staff, too. That's another reason why I could definitely see the Giants being interested in him. Sean Spence, obviously, the D-line coach, coached him at Penn State. Let's see what we got here. What's going on, Word? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Yeah, there's another guy, MYG for life. I've seen a bunch of my subscribers have pointed him out. He's a second-round pass rusher prospect as well. Good call on that. Let's see what we got here. These dudes need to watch out with the spamming. We about to... I don't know what's going on. I can't watch the chat that intently, but I appreciate the... I don't want you to overdo it. You know, I don't know what they're doing, but if somebody's being obnoxious, don't ban them from the channel, but you can time them out. What's going on, Andrew Boyle? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Yeah, no, Yannick has still not been traded. You know, I've been saying for months, you know, when they said that they were going to franchise tag Yannick, you know, some people are saying they're going to trade him. If they don't, the Jaguars I don't know what they're doing. You know, they have to trade him. There's no reason for them to keep him on that football team. He's just going to be a headache. They're rebuilding. Get what you can for him now. And I think the sooner they do it, the better. I think their owner knows that. I think, like I said in my video, I think he's just trying to play hardball. I think he's trying to get as much as he possibly can. But he's going, I can't guarantee anything because crazy stuff happens in the NFL. But I would say 85% he's going to be traded. I'd be surprised if he's a Jaguar next year. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, Yannick's tagged, but I think he'll be traded. Tag and trade. What's going on, Jack? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Hearing a ton about Ruggs being better than Judy and Lamb. Any possibility of Mims? Mims is another receiver I really like. Denzel Mims is another receiver I really like. Or Riggs early in the... I mean, I think if you're looking at a second-round receiver, I think Mims is a possibility. T. Higgins, Mims, I think those are the 2 most realistic guys the Giants could potentially get if you're looking to take a receiver in round 2. Let's see what we got here. What's going on, Guillermo? Thanks for popping in, man. Salute that detainer. If Gettleman takes Simmons and you guys don't make the playoffs, is he fired? Oh, wow. It's a really good point. A really good question, rather. I mean, it's possible. Guillermo, at the end of the day, it's possible. It's New York. And if you don't live up to, even if I think those are way too high of expectations, I don't think people should be expecting the Giants to make the playoffs. I don't think he should be. But I'll say this about Simmons. I think Simmons is more of a win-now pick. I think if Gettleman drafts Simmons, even more pressure goes on him this year in terms of winning and losing. I think the offensive lineman is more of a long-term thinking draft pick. I don't know if he's fired if they don't make the playoffs, but I think they'd have to at least be in contention for the playoffs in the last couple of weeks. I'll say that. And I unfortunately for Gettleman, I think it's going to be that case probably no matter what they do with that pick. I do. I don't think the fan base is going to tolerate another 5-win season, maybe, you know, or 6-win season, and where he's going to be able to keep his job. And I defend Gettleman. I think Gettleman does some good things. I think he does some bad things. And I don't think we're going to be able to judge everything Gettleman's done for another 3 or 4 years when we see these draft picks pan out and we see what he did with the cap space and what evolves from that as well. But yeah, I think Gettleman will be without a job next year if the Giants don't win at least 7 games minimum, regardless of what they do with that pick. I just want to beat Dallas. I just want to beat Dallas too. I want to beat Dallas. I want to beat the Eagles. Yeah. Thoughts on Isaiah Hodgins? Isaiah Hodgins is a guy that Isaiah Hodges is a guy that I've been saying is my target. Isaiah Hodges is tall. He can go up and catch the 50-50. He's got upside. Oregon State, 5th-round prospect. That's the guy I got circled. Obviously, Gandy Golden as well. We'll see if he's there in round 5. He probably won't be. You probably have to take him in the 4th. But yeah, Hodges is one of the guys that I definitely throw in that mix that I'd be completely for taking in that 5th-round area. He's the guy I had mocked to the Giants in my 7th-round mock draft. I like Hodges. Oh, Hot Nichols, man. Thanks so much, man, for the $2 donation. He says, what's the plan for coverage of the draft? In terms of what they're doing, it's going to be, I don't know. It's going to be a stream. I know that, but I honestly don't know. You know, I don't. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out with the draft. In terms of me, I'm going to be on Bad Dog's channel the first day, and then he's going to be on mine days 2 and 3 on YouTube. But in terms of what the NFL is doing, I don't know what they're going to do. I really don't. I don't know what they're going to do. It's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, I know it's going to be virtual. It's not going to be traditional. But the one thing I've said I'm worried about is Dave Gettleman pressing the wrong button. You know he's not a computer guy, and I don't want Gettleman drafting somebody that he tends to draft in the 6th round, 4th overall. That's one thing I worry about there with the Giants. Did you see? Yes, I did. Yes, I did, Mohammed. Yes, I did. And I'm actually going to be on their channel, I think, Monday. We talked about it. If not Monday, sometime earlier this week. But I did see that. They did a great job getting them on there. A wide receiver and special teams guy, round 4, to keep an eye on Van Jefferson. Yep. Van Jefferson's another. Why do I keep picking up this cup? It's empty. This is the cup with the coffee in it that is ice cold by now. That was the cup that I had earlier today that I haven't brought upstairs yet. What's up, Julian Tate? Thanks for popping in the stream. When did Simmons hint he wants to be a Giant? I don't think Simmons ever hinted he wanted to be a Giant. Nothing that I know of. Simmons wants to be. I'll tell you what, Simmons wants to be a Giant. I'll tell you that. Because I think the Giants, in my opinion, now the Lions could certainly take him. But the Giants, I think, are the first team that could take him. And that, you know what that means? He gets more money. So he'd much rather be a Giant than a Panther. Because if he slips to 7, you're talking millions of dollars lost. So Simmons wants to be a Giant. At the end of the day, it comes down to money, and I don't blame the athletes. It's a business, like I said in my video today. So he wants to be a Giant, I'll tell you that. Peter Bibby, what's going on, man? Thanks for popping in the stream. Julian Love and X-Men breakout years. I could definitely see that. I mean, I think Julian Love fits this defense perfectly. I like Julian Love in this defense. Yeah, I knew they were going to be on Zoom. I read about the Zoom calls for meetings and I guess discussions with the team. I read about that. I didn't know that they were using Zoom for the draft. So they're using Zoom with the draft. That's funny because I use Zoom for my videos. I just did a video with Rover Sports 2 days ago. I was on Zoom. And one thing that I read about Zoom, a lot of my subscribers told me about it, and then I read about it online, they don't have the best security. So a lot of people worried about that like teams could hack into discussions and things like that. Things that you would have never even thought about, something to worry about on draft day. In the world we live in right now, teams got to worry about. And, L.A. Lou, man, thanks so much, man, for the love, man. I really appreciate that. $5 donation. He says, good coaching turns your team around quick, gives you a shot at the playoffs. You could have made the playoffs last year. Coaching lost games for you guys. L.A. Lou would know it better than anybody. McVay comes in there. You guys had a very disappointing season. And granted, it was Goff's rookie year, so you couldn't have expected much that year. But McVay comes in there. You guys are in the Super Bowl 2 years later. You know it better than anybody. Of course, you guys built a lot through free agency, but and I'll tell you what, obviously we don't have Aaron Donald, but in terms of offense, the Rams have a very similar makeup to what we have. They have the standout running back, or they did, with Gurley. They've got the young quarterback with Goff going into his second year. We got Daniel Jones going into his second. We're not as advanced as they were. Obviously, they have better defensive players, but it's somewhat comparable. Young head coach, second year of a quarterback. You drafted an early running back a few years earlier. The Rams built their team similar to the Giants in that aspect, at least offensively. I didn't know that, Ryan Clay. I didn't know that it was routed to China. Healthy Ingram, over under 6 touchdowns. Oh, more. If he's healthy, more. 16 games Ingram, he's going for more than 700 yards. You could bank on that. 16-game Ingram, he's going for close to 1,000, and I think he's getting at least 8 touchdowns if he's healthy. I think he's the best weapon in this offense in terms of passing if he's healthy. Yeah, Rams are falling apart now because they built through free agency. Well, we'll see, but they could be falling apart because they built through free agency. Let's see what we got here. Chris, if I was a head coach, I would have linemen play every position on the offense. No passing, only running. I love it. Ryan Clay, you're speaking my language, man. I would love. I would definitely be fired in my first year because I would take an offensive lineman with all 7 picks. No, I'm kidding, but I definitely would have the mindset of building through the offensive line. That's for sure. For sure. LA Lou, man, thanks so much for the $2 donation. He says, and you ain't getting Aaron Donald. Lou, I'll give you all 4 7th-round picks this year. All 4. Give us Donald. I'll give you all 4 7th-round picks. I'm giving you 4 draft picks for Aaron Donald. Let's do it. Let's see what we got here. What's going on, Mariano? Thanks for popping into the stream. What's up, Kush? I know Kush is having a good time tonight. He's always token. He's always with Reggie. You know, I thought that meant something else the first time he told me that. Who will be our fullback? Penny. We signed Penny to an extension this year. Elijah Penny's going to be the fullback. I don't remember the contract details, but I think it's a 2-year deal. But yeah, Penny's going to be the fullback. We could have had Donald or Zach. Yeah, we could have. Could have, would have, should have. What do you think the Giants do in the later rounds? Also, I got to go. Don't worry about it, man. I appreciate you for popping in the stream. In the later rounds, like I said, I think a wide receiver will be in the 4 or 5 round area, tall wide receiver. I think they could definitely look to get a young running back. Obviously they brought in Deion Lewis, but he's older. He's probably a 1-year guy. It was a 1-year contract. I don't think he's going to be here for much longer than that. So they could definitely get a young backup running back. I don't think they're committed to Gallman. We'll have to wait and see. And then offensive line, man. I maybe a late round edge rusher, but I think offensive line. They'll definitely spend on some of those picks for depth, whether it's a guard, whether it's a tackle. And maybe a corner, slot corner, something like that. But I think those will be some of the positions they'll be targeting in the late rounds. Who do you want to win the NBA? I have no idea who's partaking in that, Cody Johnson. But if the Knicks are, the Knicks. You expect Wayne Gallman to be on the team? You threw odd man out. I don't know if he's going to be on the team, off the team or not. Here's what I'll say about Wayne Gallman. I think Wayne Gallman's going to be competing to save his job in training camp. I don't think he's a given roster spot. I'll say that. And I hope he makes the team. I think a lot of people, when they hear me talk, think I hate Wayne Gallman. I don't. I just personally think we need a better backup. I don't think he's gotten the job done the last couple of years. So, but I'll be rooting for the kid. I hope he improves. I hope he's a great backup. But I do think he'll be competing for his job. I definitely don't think it's a given. That's for sure. Who's the Giants' captains? I mean, Saquon will be the captain again. I'm trying to remember. Saquon will definitely be. Martinez will probably be a captain. He'll probably replace Ogletree's captain. Maybe make Bradbury the captain in the second. I mean, I would think it'd either be Bradbury or Peppers in the secondary. On the D-line, maybe give it to Dexter Lawrence. And then on the offensive line, it'll probably be Solder again just because he's the experienced veteran. Saquon, I think, will definitely be the captain with the running back. And, I don't know if I don't know how that works. I don't know if your running back's captain, if you can make the quarterback a captain. I don't know how that works. But I think Saquon will definitely be the captain. Yeah, Ebner will definitely be special teams. Yeah, Solder was a captain. Let's see what we got here. Danny I don't know how that works. If a quarterback and a running back can be a captain, I'm not 100% on that. If it's possible, then yeah, I would think Jones might be the captain. Year 2. Had a long shift today, but so glad I stayed up to join the hangout. Looking forward to the draft. Stay safe and good night. You too, Marjorie. Marjorie, one of my best subscribers. She always tunes in, always shows a lot of love, and I'm glad you got to pop in. And I hope you have a happy Easter, Marjorie, and I hope you're staying safe out there. Have a great night. Would love to have Michael Thomas back. Michael Thomas was a captain last year too, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, right now I don't think he's been signed. Cody Core could be a special teams captain. Good call. I love Cody Core. Josh Allen was his second. Yeah, I mean, a lot of quarterbacks are their second year. I mean, Barkley was his second year. Was a captain. I don't think right now, Gino. I don't think they've signed Michael Thomas yet. He's not. I don't think he's on the roster right now. What's going on, Greg? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Yo, Chris, you think we get Laramie Tunsil for a 4th-round pick? No. But good try. Do you think Golden? No, I don't. Maybe, but I don't. I don't think Golden's going to be here. But I'm not going to rule it out. But everything we've read and heard points to that no. I think an article came out today that I saw that he still wants $10 million. I like Golden. I hope he gets his $10 million. He was a good guy. He played hard for the Giants. He got 10.5 sacks or 10 sacks or whatever it was. I warned people, not warned, because I think some people definitely agree with me, but I was saying week 10, 11, 12, I didn't expect Golden to be back here if they got rid of Betcher, because I thought that he was brought in for the Betcher scheme, and we got rid of the Betcher scheme, and when you get rid of a scheme and you brought in players specifically for that scheme, they're going to look for players to fit the new scheme, and it's the same thing with Fackrell. I think they brought in Fackrell because of Patrick Graham's scheme. He did really well in Green Bay. And if Patrick Graham moves on and gets a head coaching job next year, I would expect if they were bringing in a new defensive philosophy that they'd move on from Fackrell. So, I think Golden was successful here, but I think a lot of it had to do with the scheme, and I think the Giants realized that. Let's see what we got here. The main reason we need to go offensive tackle is because we had Beckham, Barkley, Ingram, and Shepard and couldn't do nothing. Antoine, you're preaching to the choir. I mean, exactly. Exactly. What good are weapons when you can't block? What good's a quarterback when you can't block? Your offensive line is everything. The quarterback's the most important position, but if you can't block, it's like not having an engine in your car. You're not going anywhere. Giants fans should know that better than anybody. I mean, we had the best running back and best wide receiver in football on the same team 2 years ago. We weren't winning football games. And it wasn't because we were putting up, I'm not saying the offense was horrible, but it wasn't like we were putting up 35 points like we should have been. Oh, Tyler, thank you so much, man, for the $2 donation. I really appreciate that. He says, what is the Giants' worst-case scenario for the draft? Derek Brown? Yeah, taking a D tackle or a wide receiver with the 4th pick. I think that's the worst case, and I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah, to me, that's the worst case. But thanks so much for love, man. I really appreciate it, man. Sean Bradley at 4. Don't say I like Bradley though. From what I read, I didn't know much about him until I saw that article come out. Other than, obviously the goofy basketball player, but the player from Temple, I didn't know much about him. But I like him as a 5th or 6th round prospect. He seems as if he's at least be a solid special teams contributor, which Joe Judge is definitely looking for. But yeah, to answer your question, I would say Derek Brown. Maybe trading down to 12 and the prospect that we want doesn't fall there, and then we end up with mediocre prospects, maybe something like that. Yeah, I would say those are our worst draft day scenarios. Big Daddy says, oh my God, Brown, I would just have to take more beep, man. Build your team from the, you build your team from the draft. What is your craziest draft day? What do you mean? I mean, last year I went nuts when we took Daniel Jones. Not my proudest moment. But there's been a lot of drafts where I was not happy. I wasn't on YouTube, but I was not happy with Eli Apple. Eli Apple, but I thought the Giants panicked with that pick. I think they were expecting Conklin to be there and he wasn't, and then they just panicked. I was really upset with that pick too. Other than that, I mean, I didn't like the Evan Ingram pick. I thought that was a dumb pick. Not because I don't think Evan Ingram's a good player. I think he is, but I think they needed to fix the pass rusher in the offensive line. And you look, Watt came out of that draft, and that you had Ramczyk, who was a Pro Bowl lineman for the Saints, went after him. So that was a really bad pick too, based on the team needs at the time. The Giants look good on paper, but always disappoint. But that won't happen with Judge. Well, the Giants look good on paper, but they disappoint. But it's because of, I hate to sound like a broken record, it's because they're not good where it matters most. The 3 most important things in football: the quarterback, protecting the quarterback, and getting after the opposing quarterback. It's a simple game. The Giants are extremely weak in 2 of those areas, and they've been extremely weak in 2 of those areas for a very long time. Getting after the quarterback and protecting their own quarterback. You could have all the fantasy players in the world. You're not going to do anything if you can't do the basic fundamentals. Protect your quarterback and get after the other quarterback. That's why they haven't won. And, thank you so much, Mark, for the $2 donation. I really appreciate that. He says, irony is that Watt had injury history, not injury. That is true. That is true, and that's why Watt fell in the draft. That is very true. It's a very good point you bring up. Very good point you bring up. Thank you so much for the love, man. Favorite new coach on Judge's staff? I like a lot of the coaches on Judge's staff. Shaplinski was brought up earlier. In terms of upside, I really think Shaplinski is a diamond in the rough, man. I really do. But I love a lot of them. I love Burns, the running back coach. I love Colombo. I like Bielema, even though he was trying to get off of the team. I like Garrett. I think Garrett's going to be a good offensive coordinator. I really like a lot of the coaches they brought in. That's a tough call, man, because I really do like a lot of the coaches they brought in. But yeah, those would be some of the guys I would mention. This is the best staff since. Yeah, I love the staff, Big Daddy. Let's see what we got here. Hasn't Dave Gettleman already shown he is better than Jerry Reese just with the first two drafts? In terms of drafting, Hunter, people that like Reese are going to point to the Super Bowls. And that's fair. I can't debate. I go back to what I always say, and it's like a broken record. But when you're evaluating GMs, you have to take into consideration what they inherited. Jerry Reese inherited a team that was miles better than the team that Gettleman inherited. And that first Super Bowl had very little to do with Jerry Reese. The second Super Bowl had a little bit, half to do with Jerry Reese. But Jerry Reese got us into the situation that we're still in. And Gettleman's drafted well. I think even the biggest Gettleman hater would tell you that he's drafted well. He's done some things to piss people off. But here's what I'll say. One thing I will say, and I'm a guy that defends Gettleman, I think some people do sometimes overrate Gettleman just a little bit just because the guy that he replaced was so bad that anybody that could draft decent is going to look great. Like, you look at Jerry Reese's drafts. I could do a video on that. He was the worst drafter probably in football from 2012 till he got fired. He was horrible. So, yeah, Gettleman's definitely drafted well, but I feel like anybody that came in here that would have drafted halfway decent would have looked great in comparison to Jerry Reese. Jerry Reese is not a good GM. He just wasn't. He knew how to spend money, I guess, in 2017, but anybody could throw money at a problem and fix it really, or 2016 rather, and fix it really quick. Guy couldn't draft after like his first 2 years as the general manager. And thank you so much, Tyler, for the $2 donation. I really appreciate that. He said, yeah, a lot of people like him. A lot of people like him. I've seen a lot of people bring him up as a potential draft prospect in next year's draft. I'm not thinking about next year right now, but he would be a nice guy to bring in. Right now, I want to fix the immediate needs on this football team, but we'll talk about next year's draft after this year's draft. Maybe I'll do a video on that, talking about next year's prospect after this year's draft. But a lot of people have brought him up as a guy that they want to bring in next year. Also going to obviously depend on where we're picking. Can you do the draft website and do a mock draft, please? I'm doing a mock draft on Monday. Mock draft Mondays. I'm going to do that on Monday. Yeah, no, I'm going to do a video on that. I'll probably do it after... what are you talking about? Do a video... Which one, Daniel? You want me to do a video on Jerry Reese's drafting, or do you want me to do a video on next year's draft class? What one are you referring to? Should we take Wirfs at 4 and then Ruiz in the second? I won't cry if we do that. Offensive tackle center. If I was the GM, what I would do why not tomorrow? Tomorrow's Easter, Kristaps. That's why. If I was the GM, in an ideal world, I would trade down, I would get my tackle, and I would get my center. That's what I would try to do. But, like I've said this entire time, the trade has to be there. I don't know if it's going to be there. The trade has to be there. But tackle center is what I would do. I would shore up the offensive line. You want to see the draft, the Reese drafting video? Yeah, I mean, that would be depressing. You guys are probably going to cry, but I could do the draft, the Reese drafting video, and I could break down how he spent his free agency money. Jerry, I remember looking at this because I think it was last offseason. I was doing a free agency video, and Jerry Reese from like 2000 and I think like 11. After Boss, remember the center they brought in from the 49ers who was on the Super Bowl team? After him, The only free agent offensive lineman that he brought in of any significance in terms of dollar amount was Jeff Schwartz from Kansas City. And Jeff Schwartz was a bust. He was horrible. I think he got hurt, in fairness. I think he got hurt. But he didn't establish the offensive line at all in free agency. He didn't throw any money at it. And he didn't draft. And when he drafted, he missed. Oh, LA Lou, man. Thanks so much, man, for the $5 donation. I really appreciate that. He says, the Rams will be fine. We didn't lose anyone that will hurt. We've drafted 27 players the last 3 years. 24 are still with the team and contributing. LA Lou's got confidence in his Rams, and at the end of the day, if that's true, you will be fine. You know, it'll come down to the way that you guys have drafted. You guys have lost some talent. You wouldn't debate that. You know, you lost Fowler this year. You know, and obviously, you know, you've had some casualties, but the Rams have drafted well, and, you know, we'll see. We'll see if you guys can keep it going. I did project you guys, before you had a lot of losses this offseason, I did think you guys were going to have a nice bounce-back season. I'm not completely giving up on you guys yet, but I'm kind of up in the air with you guys. I feel like you guys could be good and could have a bounce-back year. You could also be not so good. You guys play in a really tough division, but I'm not giving up on you guys. I think you have a great head coach with McVay, so I won't count you guys out. Only the OG. Will be. I remember Beatty. Let's see what we got here. It would be bad to see, but we'd be good to have a full understanding of the history of how we got to it. Yeah, no, Sabrina, I'll definitely do it. I'll probably title it like, you think Gettleman's bad. Well, let's look at Jerry. I don't know, but I'll do a video of the history of Jerry Reese and his drafting and his free agent acquisitions. Absolutely. How we got to where we are. Something like that. Yes. Giants-Rams 2020 regular season game. Yeah? Giants play the West this year. Not going to be easy. Tough division. Stand up, Daniel saying thanks for popping in the stream, man. When did we go live today? We went a little late tonight. I think we went at 8:50, so we've been live for a little bit. Probably go for at least another half hour. Thanks for popping in the stream, Daniel. By the way, I hope everybody is staying safe out there, getting ready for Easter, and I hope everybody has a good time tomorrow. You know, even in these tough times. What's up, Chris Senor's in the chat? It's good to see the Senorita. What's up, buddy? What's up, degenerate Giant fans? What's going on, AJ Nix? I appreciate that. Do you think steroids, or are you? Oh, I take steroids, Bavita. I inject. I do it both through pills and injections. I do both. No, I don't take steroids. You lunatic. What's up, Benjamin? Thanks for popping in. I like Gross Matos from Penn State. I don't know if Gross Matos is gonna be there. But if he is, yes, I think he makes a lot of sense, especially with Spence as our DN coach. Can we trade down with the Chargers and get their second-round pick? If we trade down with the Chargers, that's what I want. You know, I've said that time and time again. I would expect 6 and 37 if we trade down with the Chargers. That's what I would want. I don't know if the Chargers are going to be willing to trade up, but if the Chargers are dead set on a quarterback, and I saw Sonor popped into the stream, and I've had my talks with Sonor, I think the Chargers have to go with a quarterback. And if they're going to go with a quarterback, I think they're going to look to trade up because they can't risk it, especially if this Tua news is true. Now, it could be smoke. It could be nonsense. Maybe Tua is still looked at as a guy that's a top 5 pick, but if he's not, that's one less quarterback to choose from. That is more of a reason for a team like the Chargers to assure that they move up and get Herbert. I do think the Chargers, in the end, will at least look to trade up because I think they're going with a quarterback. They don't know when they're going to be picking at number 6 again. They just lost Phillip Rivers. They have to go with a quarterback, in my opinion. And I do think they're going to look to trade up. I don't know if it'll be with the Lions. I don't know if it'll be with the Giants. Or I don't know if a team will jump them before they get the opportunity. Curtis Weaver could be there in the second round. Curtis Weaver, I think, will be there in the second round. I've seen mocks where he's dropping down to the back end of the second. I think he definitely will be there when we pick it at 36. He might not be, but I would think he will be. Let's see what we got here. Should we trade up for Weeze as a center? Depends on the price. Depends on how far you're trading up. I'm not giving up an arm and a leg. I like Ruiz. One of my favorite prospects. But I don't know. It depends on the price. If it's similar to DeAndre Baker last year, Maybe. If you're moving, last year I think we moved up from 37 to 30, and we gave up a fourth and a fifth. Maybe for that price, I would try not to. But I really don't want to give up assets. I think we need as many picks as we could get. But I would love to get Ruiz. I'd be happy if we got Ruiz. If we give up a fourth and a fifth and move up and ensure that we get Ruiz, you won't see me crying draft night. Let's put it that way. But I want to keep those picks. Do I think Ruiz will drop to 36? No. When push comes to shove, I do not. A couple of people have asked me that tonight. I do not. I hope he does, but I don't. He's most people's standards. He's the best center in this draft. I think somebody will grab him in the first round. And what's going on? Slayer Maloney says, "Who is this dude? He knows his shit." My name's Chris, and I hope you subscribe to the channel. I do this twice a week. I'm a Giants fan. I don't know if you're a Giants fan or you just randomly popped into a stream of a guy talking about football that happens to be a Giants fan. But if you are a Giants fan, stick around. I do videos twice a day sometimes, and it's fun. We do a lot of live streams. We do live call-in shows. I do play-by-plays for the Giants game when they play on Sundays, and I appreciate you for popping in. Thank you very much, and thank you for telling me that I know my shit, because a lot of people say I don't sometimes. You get your trolls, but I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you, Chris. I just randomly popped in here. Well, nice to meet you too. Hopefully you subscribe and you pop in here more. Who do you think the Giants take now with all these rumors? Who do you think the Giants take now? I mean, listen, I'm standing pat, man. I'm standing pat right now. I kind of let you guys, talk me out of it, and all the hoopla and the excitement, and they might go Simmons. And I was starting to lean Simmons. I was at least 50-50 and slightly leaning that they're going to go Simmons. And listen, man, I'm a fan. I might change my opinion in a week. I definitely might. But you ask me today, the name they've been linked to for a very long time is Wirfs. If you ask me today, I'm not telling you he's my first choice. You're asking me who I think they're going to take. I think they're going to look to trade down. But in the end, whether they trade down or not, if you ask me right now, I think it'll be Tristan Wirfs. And like I said, in a week, I might change my mind. I'm probably going to give you guys a final mock draft the day before the draft. And that will be my final predictions. And I might change my mind by then. You like to tie your hair in a ponytail in your spare time? Well, Sonora, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Good stuff, man. Joey Lutz in the house. He says, "Who the hell? Joe Lutz. I'm only the guy that you've been tuning into his streams now for almost 2 years. The guy that loves cannolis, and we talk about Strombolis and whatever else. But thank you for popping in, Joe. I say we trade Dalvin Tomlinson for a third round. That's the one guy I've talked about time and time again that I think that's expendable as much as I like him. That I think could probably get you that price. I think if you trade Dalvin Tomlinson, he's probably going to get you close. Hopefully, at least. I wouldn't trade him otherwise. But I think he'd get you close to what you lost for Leonard Williams. He's not a third and a fifth, but I think he can maybe get you a mid to late third. And maybe you could recoup that pick, and you're pretty deep at that position anyway. I do think if I got that opportunity, being that Dalvin Tomlinson's going to be a free agent in a year anyway, I think I would jump at that. If you get a mid-third round pick for Dalvin Tomlinson, it kind of gives you that extra pick. You get the pick back you lost for Leonard Williams. And you got depth at that position as is. As much as I like Dalvin, he played great for us. But that I would be open to that. I would. And dropping the cannolis. There you go. See, guys, I got you. Somebody asked for the cannolis, and I got it for the members. I got you the cannolis. I'd like Dalvin over Leo Williams. Yeah, I would too. But if we're talking about potential trades, Leo Williams isn't. I actually don't know about that. It's close for me. I love Dalvin Tomlinson. You watch all my streams last year. Dalvin Tomlinson was the name I kept saying time and time again. But Leo Williams, I don't know. He's a little more versatile. They're both good players. But the thing is, when you're looking at the two and you're looking at potential team players that you could trade, what are you getting for Leo Williams? Nobody's taking Leo Williams. The guy's making $16, $17 million on a franchise tag. Dalvin Tomlinson has an attractive contract, at least as of now. You'll get more for Dalvin Tomlinson. So you got to factor that in. So That's why I say Dalvin Tomlinson and not Leo Williams. I think I get more for Dalvin Tomlinson. I asked for the cannolis and let them go. That's right, David. It said those were one of Reese's. That was one of Reese's good picks. Worf says techniques get new shoes. No way we draft Major. Nick says, we'll see. I could be, I'm just a fan, man. I'm at the end of the day, I'm just telling you my opinion. And here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll definitively say, AJ Nix. And I don't think I'm going to change my opinion. I don't know if it'll be worse. Maybe it won't be worse. They're taking a tackle. That's what I'll say. And I'll say what I've said the whole time. I'm not going to be upset if they take Simmons. But I think they're taking a tackle. And I've said throughout this whole stream the reasons why I think that. That I'll definitively say. Now, do you think it'll be Becton? Do you think it'll be Wills? Do you think it'll be Thomas? Do you think it'll be Wirfs? That's for you to decide. I think I'm pretty set right now. And don't hold me to it. I could change my mind in a week. But I think I'm pretty set right now that I think they're going to take a tackle. Let's see what we got here. If Gettleman thinks he may be on the chopping block, then he will trade up on pick number 2 last year to get a difference maker. Yeah, but I don't see the Redskins trading with us. That's the thing. I really don't. I don't see the Redskins making a trade with the Giants. Maybe with the Lions if a player dropped like Chase Young, but I don't see the Redskins giving us Chase Young. Chris, could you make a video breaking down all the players we draft right after the draft? I think it would give us Giants fans a lot of insight. RJ, I'm going to... Yeah, no, AJ, no, I know, man. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. That's what I try to promote on my channel, man. I'm not going to be able to do it right after RJ, but I'm going to do it because I'm going to be streaming the draft. I'm going to be on Bad Dogs channel day 1. I'm going to be on my channel day 2, day 3, but it'll be late. But I'll definitely have a video up that night after the draft talking about Isaiah Simmons or the tackle that we draft because I'm holding to it. It's going to be one of those two. And then, day 2, I'll have after I'm done with the stream, I'll do a video on each individual prospect. Maybe it'll be a combined video. I don't know. And then, maybe after the fact, when I have more time, I'll do a complete breakdown of every player we brought in and talk about the impact it'll have on the roster and things like that. But I'll definitely have individual videos up on each prospect after the draft for sure. And Kyle, man, thanks so much for the love, man. I really appreciate that. He says, worst run franchises, Texans or Knicks? Draft, baby. Kyle, great subscriber, man. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying safe out there. That's really tough, man. But at least the Texans have been relevant recently. But, I was talking about last night on Bad Dog Stream. I cannot believe that the Houston Texans traded to acquire Brandon Cooks. They get a second-round pick for who I think is the best wide receiver in football. Now, I know they had problems there, so they got what they could, whatever. They got a second-round pick for DeAndre Hopkins. Then they turned and they give that second, I don't know if it was that set, whatever it was, a second-round pick up to bring in Brandon Cooks. And I think they get a future for it, but whatever. Brandon Cooks is making $80 million over 5 years, $16 million a year. He's coming off the worst year of his career, and I think he's 27 or 28 years old. You had 2 second-round picks in the deepest wide receiver draft class in years. What is the thinking behind that? Just draft the wide receiver and pay him pennies on the dollar. Get Denzel Mims. Get Chase Claypool. Get your wide receiver there. You're not paying him $16 million a year, and you keep your draft pick. I didn't get it. Horrible. And Cock Lobster, best name on YouTube. I appreciate the name. $2 donation. He says, what kind of effect will Colombo have on Solder? Hopefully a good one. The one thing I'll say about Colombo that I'm really encouraged by, I said it with the Cowboys when I did the video on him. He was the only guy. Jason Garrett was there for years. However many years. And he was the only guy ever that Jason Garrett made a midseason change with the coaching staff. He had never done that before. He made Colombo the offensive line coach mid-2018. The first half of the year, that offensive line struggled mightily. Now, Amari Cooper definitely had something to do with that. It stretched out the offense. But that offensive line over the second half played near tops in the league. And then last year, they were the best offensive line in the league. So Colombo has a good reputation of being an offensive line coach. He's young. He's energetic. I'm excited for Colombo, man. I think Colombo is a huge step up from the O-line Hal Hunter coach that we had. Hal Hunter sucked. So hopefully he does big things for us, man. I like Colombo. I think it was a good pickup by the Giants. I think, yeah, you might be right, and we got time. They might have just been like, we got to make sure our quarterback's happy. We don't want to lose him. It's the only thing that ever made sense to me. Damn it, Dana, I missed the notification. But anyway, what's up, man? Thanks for popping in, Jeffrey, man. Yeah, I don't know. Some people said they missed the notification, but regardless, I'm happy you guys are here. I'll probably go for another half hour. I like to hang out with you guys, so I feel bad for the people that didn't get the notifications. Thanks for coming in, man. Let's see what we got here. They shut down New York City schools for the rest of the year. Yeah, I heard about that. I mean, I can't blame them. You know, they stay at home. They're still finishing up the school year, right? But they're staying at home. I can't blame them, especially in New York City. I mean, you know, it's tight there. Obviously, this has been the state that's been hit the hardest with the virus, so I can't blame them for that. I think it's the right decision. Let's see what we got here. Could you see Zimenez starting and being a very productive player in the NFL? Has a lot of potential. I like Zimenez. I've said time and time again, I think Zimenez, out of every pass rusher on the New York Giants, he's the guy I'm most excited about next year. I think he will start, and if he won't start, he'll get starter snaps. Yes, I'm excited for Zimenez. I really am. He's a football player. I think he's going to do well with the Giants. I really do. Gordon Gecko, man, thanks so much for the $10 donation, man. Great subscriber, man. Love Gordon Gecko. He says, Gettleman will trade up for our second-round pick like he did last year. He will mortgage some of the future to protect himself now. He thought he'd be fired last year, moved up for Baker. He will try the same again. That might happen. That might happen. I'll agree with that, Gordon. I can see that. Obviously, the right player has to be there. You know, last year, I'm sure he had DeAndre Baker ranked much higher than where he was at 30, and he thought, you know, the price made sense. And if, you know, depending on what we do with the first pick, let's say we go with the tackle, like I'm saying. Let's just say we do it. And Kenneth Murray is at 28. He might do it. He might say, there's a linebacker we could use. I'm going to move up. I'm going to get him. Or let's say Patrick Queen. They're really impressed with him. He's there at 30, 31. They don't want to risk him getting picked up before they get to him. Maybe moves up and gets him. Maybe moves up and gets Ruiz. Those are possibilities. Yeah, I could see it for sure. That's definitely possible. Let's see what we got here. I missed an OD2, unfortunately. But if Queen and Murray and Ruiz fall to 36, would you take tackle at 4? I see Murray or Queen in Gordon's scenario, and I'd love one of them. Yeah, those are the 3 players I literally just mentioned before reading your comment. So, yes, I could see all 3 of those guys being potential guys we could move up for. Why did O'Shane not start last year? Thoughts on? I mean, O'Shane played more over the course of the season. You know, I think he got 2.5 sacks, I think, in the last couple of games. You definitely saw he got more time over the course of it. He definitely got a decent amount of snaps. But they had a rotation. You know, they had a rotation. Thoughts on Marcus Golden? I don't think he's going to be back with the Giants. And I wish him nothing but luck. Hopefully he finds a team where he fits. He's got to go to a 3-4 scheme. You know, and obviously a number of teams run that, and we'll see where he ends up. Maybe he'll be back with the Giants, but I don't think he's going to be. Let's see what we got here. Not all 4 linemen will be gone before, I think maybe you meant 15. Is that what you meant there, Michael? I would take Simmons for sure at 4, but if you are in love with Wills or Thomas, would you consider trading down a few spots? No, I prefer to trade down a few spots. That's what I've said the whole time. I'm praying they trade down a few spots. For sure. It makes the most sense. But you got to find somebody that wants to trade. And, you know, and a lot of that's going to be dependent on the Detroit Lions. If the Detroit Lions trade down, we lose a lot of trade value. If the Detroit Lions stay put, I think the Giants are going to have an opportunity to trade down. And you might as well, especially if it's for the 5th or 6th pick. You're still getting your guy there, and you're getting more assets. So, yeah, I think Detroit's going to have a lot to do with whether or not the Giants even have an opportunity to trade down. Oh, Coffins, man, thanks so much for the love, man. I really appreciate that, man. He says, take Caleb Chase on at 9 to pair with Yannick. You get 2 nice edge rushers there. That's for sure. Caleb Chase is one of my favorite players in this draft. I think he's the 2nd best edge rusher. And he does fit the defensive scheme. Wouldn't be what I'd like to do, but it's an interesting take. You get your 2 edge rushers for the future. They're both young, and you get back to Giants football. Something that us as Giants fans know better than anybody that you could never have enough edge rushers. That's one thing that I always agreed with Jerry Reese and the Giants' mindset. You could never have enough edge rushers. You really can't. Would I like to do that? No, but K'Lavon Chaisson's definitely a guy I got my eye on. If the Giants trade down, I do like him. How do you get half a sack? Pretty self-explanatory. No, it's when two players, they can't really give the. It's kind of like when you get a half a tackle. It's when two players get a sack together. Like say Zimenez and I don't know, Carter both hit the quarterback at the same time. Instead of one player getting a sack, they both get a half a sack because they don't know who to credit it to. Is Tom Hanks on SNL tonight? I'll have to check that out. I like Tom Hanks. Is Julian Love trustworthy for free safety for the next couple of years? I don't know. The Hunter, to be completely honest with you, I can't answer that question yet. I can't. I'd love to say he is, but I've only seen 4 games. I want to find out, though. That's for sure. I want to find out. I think he displayed that he's definitely worthy of getting an opportunity to prove if he could be a free safety for the next 10 years. And we'll see what we do in the draft. He's definitely... The book on him when we drafted him was he was a jack-of-all-trades player. He was a guy that could play in the slot, a little bit on the outside, little safety. So, depending on what they do in the draft, I think is where they're going to stick him. But I think he's going to have a role in this defense. It might not be at the free safety if they draft the safety early. Might be in the slot corner. But I think he'll have a role in this defense. Is trading with the Raiders good for us? Not necessarily. It wouldn't be my ideal choice. I would prefer one of the other trade destinations because... Like I've said all along, if you trade down to 12, you don't know who's getting there. You don't know who's going to fall there. LSU, talking Giants. If we trade back or not, I'm pretty sure we're going to take a tackle, and honestly, we should trade. No, I agree with you. Listen, I'm a tackle guy, and I even say I want them to trade back. I do. I understand that we get a lot more value trading back if we take the tackle. I do want them to trade back. I won't cry if we don't, but I want them to. Lax, thank you so much for the $2 donation. I really appreciate that. He says, do you think we could get a second or third? You're not getting a second if you wait till in season. That's what I've said all along. Let's just say I don't think we're trading Ingram, at least before the year starts. But let's play the trading game. If the Giants start out 2-5 and Ingram has 600 yards and he's the best tight end in the league statistically, and there's a team that needs a weapon, and that's when I think you get maximum value. So to me, if Ingram's going to be traded, it's going to be at the deadline. I don't think it'll be before the year starts. It doesn't make sense to trade Ingram right now. You never trade a player when his value is low, and right now his value is low. He's injured. You always sell high or as high as you possibly can. It doesn't make sense to trade him right now. If they're going to trade him, it'll be in season. You make an offer to Bill O'Brien, he might give you 2 first. Yeah, that's true, Jake. See, we might get 4 first for Evan Ingram from the Texans. Where do you think Hunter Bryant... Yeah, I saw Murpru. I saw the Hub had him mocked to the Giants in the 7th round of his draft. He's an interesting prospect. I was listening to what he had to say about him. Seems to be a pretty good all-around tight end. I do think, I don't know if it'll be him, but I do think the Giants could definitely look to take a tight end with one of those later picks, 6th, 7th round, for sure. And that might be one of them. I had the guy from Stanford. What's his name? Can't remember his name off the top of my head. But Parkinson, Colby Parkinson. I had him being mocked to the Giants in one of mine. But I could see the Giants targeting a tight end in the 6th or 7th round area with all of our picks for sure. Yes. When is the draft? The 23rd. Road to 23K starts now, less than 1K away, my man. Christoph, man, thanks for the update, man. So, yeah, I must hit 28.9. 28.9. What am I talking about? 22.9. I was at 22.8. That's where I got the 8 from. But, yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you for the update. So, yeah, we're less than 100 away from 23K. 25K, I'm going to do a giveaway. I'll probably have 25K, I'll probably do a trivia night like I did with 10K, and we'll do a jersey giveaway. We'll do something fun. But it's got to be more organized. I got to figure out a way to make it more organized. I don't know what I'll do, but I'll do something. Favorite member of Fireside. I mean, I like all those guys. All those guys are really nice. You know, I got to talk to all of them when I went on the channel. I've known Mike the longest, and I've always respected Mike's channel. You know, I think Mike is really smart. You know, I think he gives really good insight. I think he puts in a lot of work. One of my more respected guys on YouTube for quite some time. Yeah, I like Mike Too Nice a lot. I think he's, yeah, I would guess him. I would say him just because I've known him a lot longer. But I like all three of those guys. They're all really nice. And Mark, man, thanks so much for the $2 donation. I really appreciate it. Stream made my night. Clocking out. Enjoy Easter. You too, Mark, man. Be safe out there. And, yeah, enjoy. I don't know what you're eating for Easter, but whatever you're eating, enjoy it, man. Let's see what we got here. Do you think Leonard Williams doesn't prove himself this year, he will get a long-term contract from us? Do you think if he doesn't? I don't know. Yeah, it's... Oh, man. You like if he doesn't get sacks, like, what's not proving yourself? If he's nothing, no. But, I mean, if he stuffs the run and things like that, yeah, probably. You know, hopefully not anything ridiculous. But, I do think Leonard Williams is in the long-term plans. They may even get a long-term contract before the year starts. Gettleman might have, I think, probably franchise tagged him, hoping to get a deal done, knowing that the cap's going to go up significantly next year. Whether or not that gets done, that remains to be seen. Oh, Malik, man, thanks so much, man, for the love. I really appreciate that, man. $5 donation. He says, what we need to do is draft Chase Claypool. Watch Rookie of the Year of every close game. Lob it up to him. Win the game. You know, best wide receiver. Malik, man. Malik is all in on Chase Claypool. And you know what, Malik? Here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do for you. If the Giants draft Chase Claypool, Malik, all the love you always show my channel. If the Giants draft Chase Claypool, which I don't know if they're going to, I am going to buy you a Chase Claypool Giants jersey. If they draft Chase Claypool, you will get a Giants Chase Claypool jersey from me. You have my word. If they draft Chase Claypool. Chris, who is your favorite Giants player? Eli Manning. Eli Manning. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Let's see what we got here. Happy Easter. How do you feel about Lorenzo Carter going into year 3? I think I personally think that I like him going into year 3. I think he fits this defense. I like him. I like Lorenzo Carter. We'll see. You know, obviously he was disappointing last year, so a lot of people are going to be reluctant to jump on the train. We'll see, but I like Lorenzo Carter. I think he's versatile, like what they're looking to do, and I think with an improved coaching staff. The other thing I like about Lorenzo Carter that I don't talk enough about, the former Georgia linebacker, is it our linebacker? I think it's our outside linebackers coach, or one of them is from Georgia. He's the former coach of Lorenzo Carter. So I think there's familiarity there on how to get the most out of him. So I like Lorenzo Carter this year. I think he's going to have a big jump. Did we lose the JPP trade? Yes. Well, what do we get? I don't know. What do we get? We got a third for him, right? At the end of the day, no, we didn't. I mean, I know JPP had 20 sacks over the last 2 years, but at the end of the day, how many games were we going to win with JPP, and how much more were you going to get for a guy that had 7.5 fingers, that was with an injury history, that was making money, coming up on a free agent contract? I don't know. Like, it wasn't like we were going to be a much better team with him, so we got something for him. We got a third-round pick for him, right? So, we ended up drafting probably Carter with that pick, right? Carter or B.J. Hill. I don't know. Like, I guess, but at the end of the day, it wasn't like he was going to win us many football games. What's up, Danny? Thanks for popping into the stream. Chase Claypool is the perfect wide receiver for Jason Garrett. Yeah, he is. He goes up and catches the 50-50 ball. Where do you rank Zeitler among the guards? On the Giants, he's the best guard. Overall, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I remember when we got him, he was ranked the 5th best run blocking guard in all of football the year prior. And he was, I think, definitely our most consistent offensive lineman last year. And it's kind of hard to judge him when you have a poor offensive line because, it shows, you're only as good if you're a great offensive lineman, but the rest of the linemen are not good, you're not going to really stand out. It's kind of a unit. So, but I think Zeitler's definitely an above average guard. Let's see what we got here. Will OBJ end his career a Hall of Famer? That's a great question. I was thinking about this the other day, probably, but he's going to have a bounce back. He's going to have a bounce back with the Browns. But, I mean, he had the best start over a 3-year career, I think, of any receiver ever in terms of yards, So, probably, but he's got to do a little more. He's got to get back to OBJ for a couple of years, because he had 2 or 3 great years, but, a lot of it due to injuries, has not had great years since. So, he's not a shoo-in, that's for sure. I miss our Mets, Chris. I miss our Mets too, man. I miss baseball in general, man. I wish we had it right now. 9 more days till 420. Coach is excited for that. You guys should draft the tight end after your first 2. I don't think not that early, but I do think we could draft the tight end in the back end of the draft. I wouldn't. We have too many other needs to take a tight end. Plus, it's a thin tight end draft. Cole Kmet is for most people, the highest ranked tight end. He's a late second-round prospect, from what most people say, even early third-round prospect. So it's a thin tight end draft. I don't see the Giants drafting a tight end until at least round 5 at the earliest. Did D-Rose say D-Rose, great subscriber of mine. Have a great night, buddy. What do you have planned for as a content creator goes after the draft? Maybe entertain it doing karaoke. What I have planned after the draft, I mean, we'll have to see, where sports are after the draft. And, hopefully, maybe, they have a plan for baseball. Even if it's playing in empty stadiums. I'd stream some Met games, do some Met content. And obviously, by then, I'll be doing some football content as well. I'll be recapping the draft. I'll be talking about the undrafted free agents that the Giants are going to bring in. But, yeah, I'm sure I'll have some fun streams as well. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Malik, man, thanks so much for the love, man. I really appreciate it, man. Giants merch collection video, James Hindi says. Maybe I'll do that. I mean, I'm not a huge collection guy, but I have a good amount of older jerseys. I've got some stuff. I'm not a memorabilia guy. I got a couple of autographs. I don't have anything crazy. Actually, my old job, somebody gave me a mini helmet that was autographed by Stephen Baker. Former New York Giant. I don't have anything crazy with Giants memorabilia. I'm not a huge memorabilia collector. I got some jerseys, but nothing over the top. Malik, thanks so much for the and I got like this I got a framed picture of the Tyree catch. I got a couple Giant stuff. Malik, thanks so much for the $5 donation. I really appreciate it. Chris, I don't know why people want to trade Evan Ingram. He's actually good and a mismatch to the defense. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. Well, no, I think the reason why, and thank you, Malik, for the love, man. I really appreciate it, man. The reason, he loves to know Saquon Barkley. The reason that I think that people are open to trading Evan Ingram has nothing to do with him as a player. I think it has everything to do with him is thinking that, he's got injury history, and if he's not in the Giants' long-term plans, you should get something for him rather than get nothing. I think that's the mindset. If the Giants plan to have him here long-term, obviously they're not going to trade him. But I could see, the guy's missed 14 games in his first 3 years. I could see if the right deal presented itself, the Giants trading him. I've said that for a while now. But we'll see. The one thing when I really thought about it, I do think Evan Ingram does fit 2 things. I think he definitely fits the Garrett offense. And I think he fits what Joe Judge wants. He wants versatility on both sides of the ball. There's nobody more versatile on our offense than Evan Ingram. But if the Giants were to trade him, I don't think it has anything to do with his ability as a receiver. It has everything to do with his ability to stay on the football field. Have a good Easter, my man. Stay safe and keep up the good. You got it, man. Thank you for being here, Kristaps Porzingis. I really appreciate it. Who's shout out? Okay, so Merpwoo. I'm gonna be on Bad Dog's channel day 1 because we were on my channel last year day 1, and then day 2 and 3 are gonna be on my channel. So there you have it. And I'll do, like I said earlier in the stream, I'm going to have like the day of the draft. I'll probably live for like 2 hours from like 12 to 2, maybe 1 to 3, something 12 to 3, whatever. Just to get the mojo going, get people pumped up. Try to get some people over to Bad Dogs channel. And then we'll be live there the first night, and then day 2 and 3 will be on mine. Do you think OBJ will let his emotions get the best of him when the Browns play us this season? I mean, it's always possible for the, it's always possible that he could. He's definitely a very emotional player. We've seen that happen time and time again. If I had to guess, I would say that OBJ is probably going to have a good game against the Giants. I would say he's going to show out. I would say that the Browns are going to make it a point to try to get OBJ involved early and often against his former team. So if I had to guess, I think OBJ has a big game against the Giants. I'm not rooting for that. I hope he gets no catches for no yards, but I think that they're gonna try to pad the stats against this former team. Do you think Bradbury can lock up OBJ? Do I think Bradbury can lock up OBJ? I mean, if OBJ is completely healthy, I don't think there's a corner that could lock up OBJ. You know, I think there's corners that could slow him down. But is he healthy? And is he the OBJ of old? We didn't see that last year. I think Bradbury has done a great job on some of the best receivers, as was mentioned earlier in my stream. In the division he plays in, he goes up against Julio Jones. He goes up against Michael Thomas. He goes up against all these guys. So he's done a good job. So he's definitely shown the ability to at least contain top-end wide receivers. And I'm excited for Bradbury. I think Bradbury's going to do a good job. I don't know if he could shut him down. And thank you so much, Hunter, man, for the love, man. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you for the 99-cent donation, and thank you for being a great subscriber. Let's see. OBJ over under 1.5 touchdowns. I'm going to go under, Jay. I'm going to go under. I'm not saying he's not going to have a lot of yards, but OBJ last year had, 3 or 4 touchdowns for the year? I think he had 4 touchdowns. I don't think he's going to get 2 in one game. Maybe he will, maybe he won't, but I'm going to go under. Yeah, I'll go under the 1.5 touchdowns. Let's see. Have you looked into next year's free agency and who will the Giants? Yeah, I'm gonna do a video on that after the draft, A-Machine, when I really get to see the makeup of the football team, and that's a video that JG's actually suggested I do. I'm gonna do that after the draft. And then I'll break down the cap for next year and some of the things they could do to create more cap, which I've kind of done already, but I'll do it a little further because the cap will be more updated. And then I'll go over things that I would do, and maybe not give you exact players, but I'll go over the players. And obviously not all of them are going to hit free agency. Some of them will be retained. Some of them will be franchised. But just to get a outlook on next year's free agency class, I will do that. I'll go over some of the needs that I think the Giants will be targeting. Absolutely. Oh, man, Malik, man, thank you so much, man. He says, Chris, do a live stream just before draft day like a prayer. Something because I'm scared Gettleman might draft a wide receiver or a defensive tackle. We'll all pray together. We'll all pray together the day of the draft. Thank you, Malik, for the love. Gordon with the $5 donation. He says, entertainment trivia. Who is the only person to have the #1 song, be in the #1 movie, and be on the #1 TV show all at the same time? All right, I'm going to guess here, Gordon. Maybe I'm wrong. Will Smith. I'm going to go Will Smith because Will Smith was still on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when Independence Day came out. Independence Day was a huge movie, and he was making rap then, right? So I'll go Will Smith, and I'll say Independence Day, 90, whatever year it came out. 96? I'll go Will Smith. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Giants fan who keep talking about OBJ is too comfortable with. I don't want OBJ. That's for sure. Did you try out for the good? I did not, Leo Womack. I did not. I should though. I should. That would be fun. Do you think OBJ was overrated at one point? I mean, I think he was a fantastic talent. I think he was an unbelievable talent. I don't know if he was overrated or wasn't, but I don't know. No, I don't think he was overrated. I just don't. I don't know. No, he wasn't overrated. He was a great wide receiver. Oh, Anthony Rivardo, what's going on, man? Thank you so much for the love, man. I appreciate that. He's from Fireside Giants, right? So thank you so much, man. He says, what's up, Chris? Andrew Thomas or Tristan Wirfs? I'd go Andrew Thomas. But I think they're leaning Tristan Wirfs, but who knows? Who knows, man? At the end of the day, we're all fans, but I like Andrew Thomas better. I think he projects better to be the tackle prospect. So that's why I'm leaning Andrew Thomas, and looking forward to going on Fireside Giants soon. Should be a lot of fun. Thanks for the love, man. What's going on, Joseph Cuba? Thanks for popping in the stream. Oh, was it John Travolta? Was that the answer? John Travolta could be the answer. I'm not 100% sure. That was a good question. Best number one song, number one movie, number one. Well, no, John Travolta wasn't on a TV show, was he? I'm still going Will Smith. It's got to be Will Smith. What are you doing for tomorrow? I'm gonna celebrate Easter with my family. And I'll probably have a video up or two, but I'm not gonna be live. I'll be celebrating Easter. John Belushi, the Blues Brothers. There you go, the Blues Brothers. Stand up. What's up, Card Coach? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Gettleman wants you to be his assistant. What advice would you give him? What advice would I give him? Don't take a tackle. Otherwise, you'll be fired before the end of the night. Don't take a tackle. Defensive tackle, obviously, not offensive tackle. Don't take a defensive tackle. Almost at 23K? Yeah, they were telling me. Yeah, I'm less than 100 away, I guess. So, yeah, thank you guys for letting me know. Thank you guys for being great subscribers. Do I have kids? I do not. Not that I know of, anyway. Not that I know of. But, we'll call it out. We'll call it at midnight, and then we'll say Happy Easter to everybody. We'll go another 5-6 minutes. Ask your questions, guys. Thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. Thank you guys for being the best subscribers on YouTube. I say it all the time. Lamb or Judy, who's better? I'm going to go Judy, but it's so close. I mean, they're both great, but people ask me that question all the time. I'm going to go Judy. I think Judy's more a better route runner. That's what everything I read and hear. So I'll go Judy. But CeeDee Lamb might have a higher ceiling. But I'll go Judy. But they're both going to be great. Card Coach, are you kidding? You never have to apologize. Don't apologize, man. Can you be my... wow, I cannot be your dad. I'm sorry to hear that. Tana, I drafted Wirfs in my Madden franchise, and Daniel Jones threw 42 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 0 fumbles. Well, there you go. If that's any indication, we got to take Wirfs. 42 touchdowns. Come on. Tana waiting for the perfect... That's right, and the perfect shave. This really cheers me up because my mom is in quarantine away from us because she... Wow, I'm sorry to hear that, man. I hope everything works out there, Mahamadou, man. That's horrible. How would you feel if the Giants traded a package that the Texans got for Hopkins and get OBJ back? We're not getting OBJ back. I know a lot of people dream about that, think about that. People made videos about that. Maybe in 2 years, but not right now. OBJ's not coming back. We traded him for a reason. He's not. I don't think. I would be shocked if he comes back. I am 34, Sebastian. I'm 34 years young. I got Becton. He gave up 32 sacks. Well, there you go. There you go. We can't draft Becton then. How's the bet coming along? I didn't weigh myself today, but I didn't get a chance to exercise. Last I weighed myself, I was about 199, so I got a long ways to go. The quarantine's not helping. I got to really get to it. What's up, Chris? Hey, what part of me? I'm in Long Island. Tana, are you happy you don't have to watch the Knicks for? Yes. This is a nice break for me from the Knicks, Sam. Yes, the Knicks are playing better right now than they ever have. It's great. Michael says Simmons is the guy, man. Michael's a Simmons guy. Ian, I was 216. I'm now 199. I was 216. I'm now 199. I am not. I don't have a wife. I'm single, man. I'm an old single dude. Let's see what we got. Tana, if they continue the basketball season, the Knicks will play in June. Yeah, I would say June, early July, for sure. June, early July, for sure. Yeah, 200 pounds. I'm 5'11", 199. 5'11", 199. Love your content, man. Greetings. I appreciate that, B. Chris, man. Always love my overseas subscribers. Thank you for popping in the stream. I'm trying to get to one. I would love to be 175. That's like my perfect weight, but 180 is my goal. I want to get to 180. I haven't been 180 in about 3 years, so that's my goal. I want to get to 180. I've heard of Wayne. I don't know it that well, but I've heard of Wayne. Yes. Let's see what we got here. Chris, about to show them six-pack. Not even close yet. How much can you bench? Not enough right now. I haven't worked out in years. I just started getting back to the gym about 2 months ago. When I was at my best, when I was in the best shape I was ever in, I was probably about 185, 180, 185, and I was benching about 235. About 240. I was probably putting up 240 like 3 times. Nothing crazy. But that was probably the best shape. Now I could probably only do like 175, 180. I haven't worked out in a long time, so. Happy Easter to you. What do you think of the Tampa? I like the Tampa uniforms. I was a fan of the Tampa uniforms. I didn't see the new Atlanta ones, but I like the new Tampa. I mean, they're kind of old school. You know, the new Tampa uniforms. What if Gettleman and Judge got into a disagreement because Judge wants versatility, but Gettleman wants hog mollies? Who will this go with? I really don't think that. I mean, I don't think they're in a disagreement. I mean, they've had forever to talk about this pick. I think that everything we've seen, I think they've worked collaboratively. I think they know they're taking already, unless there's a trade down. But and obviously depending on who's there. But I'm sure they've gone through all the scenarios. I don't think there's going to be a disagreement. I really don't. We need new unis. I wouldn't mind new unis. People have talked about that now on my channel for a while. I know that there was like, somebody told me there was like 7 or 8 teams that were getting new uniforms, and I think 4 or 5 came out, so they're hoping the Giants are one of them. We'll see. I don't mind. I'm not a huge uniform guy. I don't mind the uniforms that we have. Oh, man, Malik, thank you so much, man. Abrar says, love you, Chris. Hope you do. I'm doing well, man. Abrar, man, love you too, man. Thank you for popping in. And Malik with the $5 donation, he says, so Chris, with the defensive coach, do you think he can do a defensive scheme like Buffalo or the Steelers where they switch from 4-3 to 3-4? I think that's exactly what they're going to do. I read an article today. It was actually pretty interesting. It was on Giants Wire. I didn't make a video on it. I almost did, but I was like, I already made 2 videos today. I'm going live. But they broke down the amount of snaps that the New York Giants played in the 3-4 last year. And I was surprised. I think it was only 16% of the time they were in a base 3-4. Betcher, I remember Betcher had a lot of different formations, things like that. They said Patrick Graham last year played a base 3-4 formation 33% of the time. So I think it's going to be more of a 3-4 approach than last year, but I think you're going to have versatility. I mean, that's what they've expressed. That's what Patrick Graham has expressed from the start. You go back and look at a lot of Patrick Graham's quotes. He said numerous times, I'm gonna put, it depends on who I'm going up against, and I think that's Joe Judge's philosophy. But yeah, I definitely think you're going to see different looks, not even from game to game, maybe even from quarter to quarter. Bakatari, but he's one of the best offensive linemen in football. I don't know how old is he going to be, Nick Young, next year. I don't know how old he's going to be, but he's going to get paid. He's going to get paid. Do I know anyone? Yes, but nobody that close to me. But yes, I do. But more like a friend through a friend. Nobody that close to me, Mark. He's 29. Yeah, it depends on the contract, I guess. But he's gonna get a lot of money. The problem with the Giants is that John Mara let Jones and Barkley walk, and then of course Haskins defeated Mayfield, but Jabba the Hutt swallowed them all, and Big Blue never improved. All right, Robert Smith. I think Robert Smith's starting drinking the eggnog, even though that's not an Easter drink. I couldn't think of an Easter drink. What do you think about this Dak Prescott Ezekiel Elliott party of 30 people during a stay at home? He wants $40 million a year. He's gonna get it. He's gonna get close to $40 million a year, guaranteed. With the market going up, he's going to get it. He'll get at least 37 minimum. Dak Prescott. And David, thanks for. Sorry, I'm drunk. But guys, it is 12:03. I just want to say, maybe I will put a bad dog face as one of my. You know what? I think I might do that as one of the members' emojis. I'll have a bad dog face if I could do that. But I just want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in. Obviously tomorrow I'll be celebrating Easter, but I'll definitely try to have at least one, if not two videos up for you guys. Try to do them in the morning. Hope you guys enjoy your Easter. I hope you guys stay safe out there. Make sure you're washing your hands. Make sure you're staying away from large crowds. Thank you to anybody that may have subscribed, anybody that donated, anybody that hit the thumbs up, anybody that watched the video. I appreciate all you guys. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for talking sports. And thank you guys for being the best supporters on YouTube. I really appreciate it. And you guys have a great night. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have a good night, guys.